Yeah.
Good morning. Good. Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Good morning.
Oh, it's my fault. It's my fault. That only had one ear. I thought we had the one ear thing, but it's my fault. Ham.
Good morning.
Yes, it is. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just a good morning. It's Friday morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday. Gotta get down on Friday morning. Welcome in, my dudes, my dudettes, my amigos, my amigettes. Spectacular to have you here on a Friday morning as we get the final episode of the week underway. My name, Rob Brown. His name, the great one, Lonzo. We are ever so glad to have you here along for the ride. The next 4 hours of fun and shenanigans getting their start right now. And what a day we have lined up for you this beauty of an AM. We're just vibing today, kids. Just vibing today. Good vibes only, by the way. We're vibing, and it's only the good vibes on a Friday. Got to get down on Friday.
You were going to say good vibrations. I thought you were going to go more.
Good vibrations. Bum, bum, bum. It's just a sweet sensation. I'm struggling today, man. We had the first hockey game we had a preseason game on Wednesday. And as the in-arena on-ice host for the Greenville Swamp Rapids. It had been a minute since we'd done a hockey game. And Zoe, your boy, left it all out on the ice on Wednesday night. Left it all out on the ice. Got a little raucous, a little rambunctious, a little energetic.
When you haven't been in front of the crowd for a while and then you're out there, I mean, I get it.
It's a good crowd, too. Real good crowd on Wednesday night for a little preseason footy. Or preseason hockey, not footy. We're mid-season footy.
Well, they could hit the puck with their feet. That's legal, right?
That is legal,
yeah,
as a matter of fact. But it's not a ball though. So I did say footy, not football.
You did.
Yeah.
You
so
did.
we're good. No, it was out there.
What is this shirt? Is this someone I should know?
It is. This, of course, the mayor of Margaritaville, the originator of the cheeseburger in paradise.
I think when I think of Jimmy Buffett, I think of old Jimmy Buffett.
That's a young Jimmy Buffett. A younger Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy was probably in his 40s or 50s at this point.
Well, if he's in his 40s, it's still younger to me. So, I mean, I just picture him with no hair and stuff.
I mean, he's this is early Margaritaville Jimmy. Let's see. When did Margaritaville?
I'm going to go he's 32 or something at that time.
Let's see. Margaritaville came out in 1977. Let's see. Jimmy Buffett was born in 1946. So he was in his 30s, early 30s at this point. I tell you, I could have been a really kick-ass 1970s singer-songwriter.
I was 9 then. So yeah, I was around during that with the butterfly collars and all the bell bottoms and stuff. A lot of fun to skate with bell bottoms. If they're longer bell bottoms, it can be a problem.
Did you ever disco?
Not only did I disco.
Were you good at it?
Of course.
Could you do it today? Could you break it? If I said right now, disco dance off to win another SCBA award, could you get on the floor and boogie?
I can boogie till I just can't boogie no more. But here's the thing, I also got a knee.
Can we just only play disco songs today?
I got a knee and a hip and and some things. My mom, big disco dancer, went out to the clubs to do the disco dancing, the disco clubs. And unfortunately, I had to be her partner at home so she could practice. And sometimes she would bring friends over and she'd learn the latest dance and make me get up and dance with her. So yes, I'm well aware of the disco.
People all love the world.
One of the
Johnny,
first albums I bought, a
Johnny
double
Love
album
Train.
from Denny Terrio,
Love Train.
teaching you how to disco.
Johnny to the love train. Love train. I'm gonna doubt now. I just want to hear disco music all day. No reason. Do you remember when Kiss did disco and everybody called it Kisco and it was terrible?
I was made for loving you, baby.
I was made for loving you, baby. You were
Disco
made
gets
for
a bad
loving me.
rap.
It's a vibe, bro.
It was definitely. It was everywhere. And there's always someone who gets tired of something because it's popular.
Here's the thing. How would you? Because I just for the fun of it, when you think disco, right? Give me your top 3 disco songs that come straight to the noggin.
Well, they're all from the Bee Gees, of course, probably.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Staying Alive,
Really?
for sure. I Will Survive. That's not a Bee Gees song, but that was
It's
also
not
a disco
Gloria
song.
Gaynor. Big fan.
Let's see.
Or Cake.
Cake do a version.
Cake
of
did a
that?
cover. I Will Survive.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the
actually,
band
I have
my band plays.
I have heard that
dope. It
version.
rocks.
Yeah, Chris played that a lot in the office.
I like Cake's version of I Will Survive better than Going the Distance.
Yeah, but Chris would always do this weird dance when he would play it, so it's very odd. So I still need a third song. I guess Boogie Oogie.
You may
All Night.
submit one BG song. Give me the other two.
I did. I said I Will Survive, and then Boogie Oogie.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that was a great song.
Banger. Not mad about it at all. Give me a little Boogie Wonderland, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I feel like I got to have one song that says disco in it. Burn, baby, burn. The disco inferno, burn, baby, burn.
You just want to
burn, baby,
get to your favorite part.
Hey, disco inferno, burn, baby, burn.
You're not saying burn that mother down. I figured that was your favorite part. So
Do. Well, Funky Town, it's always good. It's always good. It's just like, were you cognizant of the point in time where disco became uncool? Right? Because there's 2 ways that genres of music go away. Either they just kind of fade out because other things pop up and start to eat away the territory, A, or B, they start to actively become uncool. Well, disco was in that category.
Keep in mind, kid to preteen during disco going into 80s music when I was a teenager. So when there's a transition, as you're transitioning into a teenager, you notice it more because then your music changes and that's your music.
I'm looking at a list of I
Joe throwing out Disco Duck. Yeah, that was
that's a take right there. That's a take.
That was a DJ Rick Dees who said, I can do that. I can do that.
Rick who?
I don't get it. I don't.
Dees.
I don't get it.
Nick Saban would
Why
appreciate
are you doing
a
that
joke
thing
about
with
Rick
your
Dees.
eyebrow? That's weird.
Rick Dees.
I'm not looking anymore. It's
got
odd.
him. I'm looking up. I just because I wanted to see.
Actually think I was going to go there with you?
I didn't know. I was seeing how you were feeling this morning. Somebody listed "Heart of Glass" by Blondie as disco. That's fine. I don't have an issue with that.
That's for sure disco.
But on this website that's listed the 100 best disco songs, which they include "Heart of Glass" by Blondie. Their description is Blondie's "Heart of Glass" is a disco classic that will have you dancing like you just won a big lawsuit against your ex. What an incredible description of "Heart of Glass."
It sounds like inside information that I'm unaware of.
Is Celebration a disco song?
See, I don't think so. There's a fine line between funk and disco, and funk is eternal, even though disco died. I mean, those guys were just still playing the same stuff. It just happened to work out that it was during that era. I've never really thought of them as disco.
How would you describe disco music? ChatGPT says disco music is a vibrant and upbeat genre that emerged in the 1970s, characterized by its danceable rhythms, catchy melodies, and lush production. It often features a steady 4-on-the-floor beat, syncopated bass lines, and orchestral elements like strings and horns. Disco songs typically have a lively, celebratory vibe, focusing on themes of love, nightlife, and freedom. The genre became synonymous with dance clubs and the iconic nightlife culture of the era, influencing fashion and popular culture significantly. It's all about getting people on the dance floor and creating a sense of joy and community. Cool. I'm in.
And
Told
then
you. Good vibes only, baby.
And then someone got angry about disco, and it was a DJ, and he decided to destroy disco in one night. And
one guy took down disco
at a baseball stadium.
Who killed disco?
And they told people to bring their disco tapes and stuff, and then they ran over it with something. Zamboni
in a
or something?
notorious promotional stunt, a Chicago DJ named Steve Dahl detonated.
I knew it was something. I knew he
detonated
did something.
a dumpster filled with disco records between White Sox games at Comiskey Park, leading to a riot. Years later, Dahl claimed that disco was, quote, probably on its way out, end quote, but admitted that his stunt, quote, hastened its demise, end quote.
Radio people, man. I mean, come on.
See, this is why I tell you to actively avoid hot take artists. That's the reason right there. Because hot take artists do not care about quality of life. They just care about attention. And here's the thing. You, me, nobody else would have known who the hell Steve Dahl was. He decided to take down an entire genre of feel-good, joyful, community-based music in order to make a name for himself, and it worked. Stop listening to hot take artists.
You also got to keep in mind the internet was not a thing. It was way away from
Napster back in the day.
Right. So
you had to go to the record store.
So people were actually listening to radio a bunch in that area in order to show up and bring their disco stuff. So dude had to have a pretty big following, and in a big city. I mean, that helped too. And then, of course, the news picked it up. That's the only way that it became a thing.
Oh, Steve Dahl, you suck.
He was right, though. It was probably on its way out. And then because of...
No. It was on it had made its way into the cyclical nature of America. Because here's this thing that's happening.
Circle of life.
It is. And that's true. Like, everything is cyclical. College football is cyclical. The NFL is cyclical unless you're the Cleveland Browns, and then you're just always in the dumpster. That, funny enough, is lit on fire and should be detonated. I last night I was introduced by the wife to a new artist by the name of Chapel Rowan. Have you heard of this individual?
I have heard of them, but I'm not sure I've heard their music.
Okay.
To the point that I don't know if they're male or female, and the way that you worded it, there's no way to know.
Well,
I believe she's a girl, right?
It is. She is. And I am going to tell you that we listened to a couple of her songs last night.
It's a good name, by the way. If that's her given name. Great name. Even if not, it's a good name. Including
a song called Red Wine Supernova, which I told the wife is my second kind of alcoholic-based supernova. I'm always going to be a champagne supernova guy, but Red Wine Supernova kind of this chick can sing, dude. She can go. We'll listen to one or two during the break. We'll do a little review during the break. She can go. She was fantastic. But the more I listen to some more of her stuff, I'm like, yo, disco vibes a little bit. Disco vibe, like there's a lot of it's kind of vibey, right? It's got a lot of depth, a lot of orchestral depth to the music. Even some of her like sad stuff is still like kind of, you're like, oh, I should feel bad about not being sad to this jam. She's good. She's real good. I'm a fan. I jumped on board last night. All right, we got to talk about sports on the sports show, don't we? I forgot about that. I forget that's why we
here. Just did. See, here's the thing. All things are tied into sports. The fact that
stupid White Sox, it's always you, White Sox. Yeah. This is why nobody likes you, Chicago.
Thank you. I mean, you try to take the sports out of something that obviously was partially a sports story. There's this thing. I don't know if you knew this. But the boss is a music guy, so we're probably all right. Now I'm trying to picture the boss disco dancing.
He grooves. He 100% grooved in the day. 100% he grooved in the day. Look at that man. That man, there's a caricature of him in his office with hair. That man 100% used to groove back in the day. Like groove.
I don't know.
Like Rhinestone Cowboy.
I'll have to ask him later. Did they disco in Iowa? I mean, they did in Ohio, but I don't know if it got that far into the corn.
You guys had a whole disco, but you had the players in Ohio. I'd say the Ohio players were disco, or at least danced around on the fringe of disco, right? I'd say so.
Sure.
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show, 4 hours of sports and other talk and shenanigans coming your way. We got to get into a bunch of stuff. I am going to tell you today why I am NGL. A little nervous that Wake Forest could be the Vanderbilt to Clemson's Alabama this weekend. Not a joke.
Not gonna lie.
NGL.
Okay, it's. I mean,
Yeah. Sometimes I like to speak in young people internet talk because it grabs attention, and I've never figured this out. It really makes some people very mad.
I'm not mad.
Not you.
Not
you.
My first thought was Nigel. What's Nigel have to do with anything? And then I realized it was
Not you. I do it sometimes just because it's. Sometimes Lonzo
you and I both know someone who gets mad about it.
Yeah. Sometimes Lonzo, not all the times, but some of the times, Lonzo and I like to do things just to poke the bear.
Nuh-uh.
Just to poke the bear. Just to poke the bear a little bit. So, anyway, Wake Forest could be the Vanderbilt to Clemson's Alabama this weekend.
Yeah.
There is one thing that they do exceptionally well. There is one thing that stands out about Wake Forest that I think can be a bit of an issue for Clemson on Saturday.
It would not have the same impact if they were to beat Clemson. Because
no, that's not what I meant.
Okay, because right now we're not sure if Clemson's really back or not because of opponents.
I feel pretty good about him.
We'll
I feel pretty good about it.
I mean,
no.
They're probably back, but I am not completely certain.
The claim here is not that the upset of Clemson by Wake Forest would be anywhere on the spectrum of upsets with Vandy, Alabama. What I'm saying is this is a game that, like, all the money's coming in on Clemson. This is a game that obviously Clemson's a big-time favorite. This is a game, obviously, that Clemson, you can't lose this game, right? Much like Alabama can't go to Vanderbilt and lose to Vanderbilt. But maybe there's one thing that Wake Forest does exceptionally well that I think jumps off the page and does kind of take advantage of what Clemson's, I would say, primary weakness might be. So I'm going to tell you what that is coming up in a little while. I said yesterday on the show, I'll ask you guys today. I genuinely want to know from South Carolina fans today, A, are you watching the game tomorrow? And B, if so, what are you expecting out of the game tomorrow? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm on the show tomorrow, noon to 4. Bet for the Cycle, presented by BetMGM on the BetQL network, available for free on the Odyssey app. And by the way, I got told that at the conclusion of football season, Bet for the Cycle will start airing here on the Fan Upstate, which is pretty dope. Noon to 4 on Saturdays. Anyway.
Really? So we get more of you?
More of me.
Wow. You didn't know you needed it.
But now you got it.
Yep.
You wanted the best. You got the best. That's a Kiss line. That's how they introduce themselves.
Yeah, people don't like them anymore. Apparently, Gene Simmons
Kiss?
was.
No, Gene Simmons is a terrible person.
Yeah, I don't
Still Kiss.
Yeah.
No, he's just a jerk. He's not. I don't want to say he's a terrible person. He's just a jerk.
So you can get past that if they can rock.
Dude, I get. You know how many people I've gotten past that they're a jerk? I mean, it's like whatever. It is the definition of separate the artist from the art, right? Like sometimes. Now there are lines you can cross where I can no longer separate the artist from the art,
like murder and things like that.
Yeah, minor details like
okay.
Like
it's not really minor. No.
Yeah. No, that's the joke. That's the joke.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover you.
Are you guys South Carolina fans watching? Are you going to take time out of your day? I will be on the show tomorrow when South Carolina and Alabama kick off at noon. And there's a reason this game's at noon. Like let's get this one out of the way early.
Going to be right there at noon watching this game for sure.
You're up against Mizzou in Massachusetts.
Wow.
So, yeah, get this one out of the way early. All right. Are you watching the game, A? And B, realistically, what are your expectations tomorrow? What do you want to see? What can the Gamecocks do that tomorrow at 3:30, when you are put out of your misery by Alabama, what can the Gamecocks do that will have you call the show on Monday and go, Rob, I felt like it was a successful Saturday? What do they need to accomplish for you to call me or text me or tweet me or email me or Ray Memorial Hotline message me and say, Rob Brown, I'm a Gamecock fan, and I feel like we were successful because blank. What's that look like for you? I want you to answer that question. I also want you to absolutely groove to the good vibrations. Feel the vibrations until we come back from this break on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Salvation Army.
You can bring hope to the survivors of Hurricane Helene. You can bring help to the survivors of Hurricane Helene. Odyssey, South Carolina's family of radio stations, has partnered with the Salvation Army to provide urgent disaster relief across the Carolinas. Donate today at rebuildcarolinas.org. Your gift will help provide emergency aid like food, water, hygiene kits, and long-term recovery support to the hardest hit communities. And here's the best part. 100% of your gift goes directly to disaster relief with no administrative fees. If donations exceed current needs, the extra funds will support future disaster services in our region. The Salvation Army has been on the ground since Hurricane Helene hit, serving over 300,000 hot meals, 170,000 hydrations, and distributing 35,000 shelf-stable meal kits, along with essential supplies. They are focusing on the hardest-to-reach areas that need the most help. Donate today at rebuildcarolinas.org and help bring hope to those affected by Hurricane Helene. For the latest updates on relief efforts and ways to help, keep listening or visit disaster.salvationarmyusa.org. And again, please remember to visit and give at rebuildcarolinas.org. Feel the vibration. I want to see you drip. I want to see sweat dripping in your drawers.
Is that what he said? I didn't get out. This really wasn't. Yeah.
I mean, how good are the vibrations?
It's time to kick off the perfect tailgate and take your team to England. Chips and guac made fresh in store every day. The best meat in town, packaged fresh every day, and smiling faces giving you their best every day. Let's be real. In the South, football season is our favorite season of the year. There's a lot to smile about, especially with deals like these. England, low prices, love the savings.
It's been years in the making, and now Greenville is home to the most epic comic and game store around. Borderlands Comics and Games. Reimagined bigger and better than before. The state's premier hobby shop has been bringing the best in comics, manga, and gaming to the region for 3 decades. Come see us at our amazing location at 410 South Pleasantburg. Live the Borderlands experience for yourself. We've gone to a whole new level. Find us on Facebook and Instagram. Proud sponsors of the Upstate Pulse. Borderlands Comics and Games. Read, build, play.
Hey, can you pull out some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex saline from Vicks.
Sinex saline nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it. Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Granger. Granger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool.
It's very specific, Jacob. I hope it happens.
35. Okay. 35's respectable. Dude, I got so mad last night because all my friends up north were posting videos of the Northern Lights, and I went outside and couldn't see them.
Raven.
Did she see
sent
them?
me. Yeah, I'll show you.
Maybe it's just not dark enough where I live. So, Gamecock fans, I asked the question. I want your answers, which you can deliver at 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. 844-FAN-PHONE. What would you say the Gamecocks need to do in order for you to call this show on Monday, to text this show on Monday, to tweet this show on Monday, to email this show on Monday, or to leave a voice note on the Ray Memorial Hotline on the Odyssey app on Monday and say, Rob Brown, I am pleased with the performance of my Gamecocks of South Carolina. What would they need to do for you to get in touch with Lonzo on Monday morning and say, we had a successful game against Alabama? Yes, I know the answer's win, but let's be honest. If the Gamecocks knock off Alabama on Saturday, which they will not, if they knock off Alabama on Monday, you will all be calling this show and throwing a whole damn party.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
But realistically speaking,
No, they'll be calling and see, Rob, you were wrong.
Yeah, you big dumb idiot.
Yeah, that's what they'll do.
You big stupid idiot.
Which we encourage you to do on that thing on the thing.
You sick freak.
Which, by the way, that is exactly what we vote for the Ray Memorial text line. Available on the Odyssey app. Go to the Fan Upstate page, click on the microphone button, and leave a 60-second voice note.
Yeah, that little microphone button that you're supposed to know what it does. That thing.
Don't talk bad about it. We need people to use it.
Thank goodness we're on here talking about it because no one would know what it was if we weren't.
Go to the Odyssey app. Go to the Fan Upstate page. Once Voust gets there, click on, there's a little circle microphone button. Click on that button. And when you do, it's going to allow you the opportunity to leave a little 60-second voice note that comes directly to me and the great one, Lonzo. What will it take to get you on the Ray Memorial Hotline, the phone line, the fan phone, renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone, the text line, the tweeter, or the email inbox and say, Rob Brown, I am satisfied. I am happy with our performance. What do you want to see? We got Jacob on the Facebook stream who said, I need the Gamecocks to get 3 tutties against the Bama starters, and I need to see the defense have at least a 20% stop from scoring percentage while holding Alabama to 35. Honestly, I think that's fair. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am more concerned about Alabama's defense in this game. I am very concerned about the offense because Jalen Milroe's a dude, okay? He's a dude. He's absolutely, he will be in New York at the end of this year. I'm not saying he's winning the Heisman. I'm telling you, he's catching an invite to the downtown athletic club. The offense is going to be on point. I'm afraid for you for the defense of Alabama, which is a good, fast, hard-hitting, physical defense. And more importantly than that, it's a defense that is embarrassed right now. It is a defense that is embarrassed by their performance last week, by their behavior last week. In what is now, and I can say this officially, an edited version of former Alabama player Damon Harris's take on Malachi Moore specifically, but I really do think it translates to the whole defense. Let me tell you, let Damian Harris tell you how the former Bama players felt about his behavior, and I think the behavior of the Bama defense as a whole.
Number 13, Malachi Moore. Now, brother, I don't know you, but I'm not trying to disrespect you. But what you did last night on that football field was complete and utter. You are a two-time captain, somebody who has your hand and footprint at Denny Chimes. Well, how did you show up yesterday? The only thing I remember seeing from you is slamming the guy's head on the ground unnecessarily, punching yourself, throwing your mouthpiece, kicking a foot in front, like not even in a way of like, okay, nobody's looking. Like, I'm bigger than the game. I'm bigger than the team. I'm bigger than this moment. Hey, everybody look at me. Look at how off I am. Look at what I got to say about it. Let me pick up a ridiculous 15-yard penalty for literally no apparent reason. And you call yourself a two-time captain? I can tell y'all what would have happened in the days that I was there. We would have tried to rip the C off of his jersey. We would have lit him up. From every coach, every player, Reuben Foster, Minka Fitzpatrick, Deron Payne, Jalen Hurts, Jerry Jeudy, everybody would have been on this dude's head. Like, what? Like, we don't do that. What's up with that?
That's Damian Harris, former Alabama Crimson Tide player. And I can tell you, as somebody, because I used to broadcast down in Florida, which was Alabama, I can tell you that the Bama fans feel this way as well. They're real ticked off about it. And it's not just Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore is the one that's catching the heat right now because Malachi Moore was the most, let's say, demonstrative of the gang. But the Bama fans as a whole are embarrassed right now. And they're letting this football team hear it. And in spots like that, football teams want to respond. Football players want to respond. Malachi Moore is going to want to respond. And if Malachi Moore wants to respond, you better believe the rest of that Alabama defense is going to want to respond as well. They're going to run to respond to the accusations that they were petulant, that they were immature, that they were undisciplined. We talked about this yesterday a little bit. We talked about it yesterday when I said, you know, I was disappointed in South Carolina, not for the L, but for the lack of discipline. And Lonzo pointed out, and I think accurately so, that a lot of the criticisms and critiques that I have placed on the South Carolina Gamecock program after their loss to Ole Miss, you could justifiably apply to Alabama's loss at Vanderbilt as well. And a much worse loss. A much worse loss. And I think it's fair to say this was a Bama team that the game plan was bad. They looked unprepared. They were certainly undisciplined. They, much like you, I hope, are going to want to respond. And on top of that, I would say there is more pressure for Alabama to respond to the allegations of no discipline, bad game plan, etc. Kalen DeBoer's got to respond with a better game plan. Why? Because he's got to prove that he's worthy of being the guy who follows the guy and makes $1 gazillion to do it. The Crimson Tide football team as a whole has to respond. Why? Because they now have to, I think, prove to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee that this was just the biggest fluke in the history of flukes. They have to prove that they are still a playoff caliber team. They have got to prove that they are still a national championship caliber team, and respectfully, allowing the South Carolina Gamecocks to even make a game of this game is going to do the exact opposite, because all eyes are on Tuscaloosa, Alabama this weekend. How do they respond? And if South Carolina, who just got mollywopped by Ole Miss, if they even make this a game against Alabama, the playoff selection committee is going to look at Alabama and go, do you really think you're a playoff team? Do you really think you got beat on the road by Vanderbilt, and then you allowed South Carolina to come to your house and compete with you? I mean, maybe you get some crumbs of credit because you were on the road at Vanderbilt. Kind of kicked the legs out from under you did Nick Saban when he said that that's the one place in the SEC it's not difficult to play, right? But if the Gamecocks come to your house and make this a game, Alabama's argument to be included in the playoffs, if they are in the same discussion as a couple of other teams for maybe that 10, 11, 12 spot at the end of the season if they lose the SEC title game or if they don't play in it at all. That argument takes a big ding. So the pressure's more on Alabama than South Carolina, and you should be grateful for that. But what do the Gamecocks do to respond to the allegations of bad game plan even with the bye week, lack of discipline, lack of execution? How do you respond when you know the team across from you is A, just better than you are, and B, has all the pressure in the world on them to respond to the criticisms they've been taking for a week since they lost to Vanderbilt last Saturday night? I want your thoughts, Gamecock fans. 71307 is the text line. Start your text with FAN. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Give me a second.
I didn't know if you knew before.
Well, I knew because I couldn't hear anything coming through the speakers.
The action courtesy Guardians Radio 5-4 the win over the Tigers last night. That ties the American League Division Series at 2 games apiece. Decided Game 5 game tomorrow in Cleveland. Tarek Skubal starts for Detroit. The Guardians have announced their starter. The winner advances to face the New York Yankees, who beat the Royals 3-1 last night to take that series in 4 games. Tonight, the Padres take on the Dodgers. Game 5 in Los Angeles. The Dodgers have announced starter. Yu Darvish starts for San Diego.
Holding Alabama to under 30 points would be an absolute achievement. No joke.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone.
Beat goalposts.
That's the sports flash on the Fan Upstate.
Up to the limit of state traffic. Kickers are making like 60-yarders like it's routine. We need to narrow these field goals. It's too easy to kick field goals now. We gotta go to rugby goalposts. Kickers should not be influencing football games as much as they are right now. We need to make kickers way less valuable. That is not what football is about. Me and Connor Barwin said this like 10 years ago. We need to get specialists out of the NFL. Specialists? Just kickers. And long snappers. Freaking punter ruin the game. Everything's going to be a Hail Mary now? I don't know. It adds excitement to the game. Just throw the ball through the uprights. Why do we have to have this guy come out here and kick it that doesn't belong on the football field? It's way too easy. Make it tighter. He's got to just have a big one post. He's got to hit the post. That's 3 points. I don't want these guys going out there in soccer shoes and you can't touch them or make believe like this is a football play. I mean, Harry's won me a lot of football games. Well, yeah, I'm sure you're pro kicker. You got a great kicker. Jake Kelly, shout out to Jake Kelly, great kicker too. Just disagree with everything about it.
Third day, and new guy's not on the board yet.
Over there?
Yeah, so I just went in there and it's like, and I had said something earlier, just joking, like, why are you sitting there? To Tim, hopefully you would get the hint.
Yeah.
Because I think new guy's milking us a little bit.
Yeah.
Because from everything he has said, he knows how to do everything. So he's just not sitting down and doing it to get more days out of it, which I get it when you don't have a job and you just want to. I'm fine with that. But Mark's going to ask me how he's doing.
Yeah. He's not.
Right.
You're on the stream.
And like I just told, that's fine.
Okay.
I wasn't. Why did you do that?
I was.
Yeah, in the middle of that. That's kind of messed up.
Well, where else did you want me to do it?
No, you and I were talking, and then you put us back on the stream. I was not.
Oh, then the video. I didn't push loop on the video.
Yeah. It's just like.
No, I never took this off. I did that read on the air. I just realized that.
Dude, it was off when I came in. I looked.
I wasn't.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, it was.
If it was, you hit it because I did not take us off the stream. Because I halfway through the read, I looked and I'm like, oh, I forgot to push the video.
I'm sure Rob would appreciate that, Jacob. I'm telling you, I looked and we were not on. We were off. I know I looked at that screen. or the craziest finally happened. And
I was going to say, I never put us on the away screen. I'll probably do that on the stream because it's an important one, but I didn't take us off. This is bouncy. I like it. It's groovy. It's a tasty little lick. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show. Here on the Fan Upstate, Rob Alonzo with you. Coming up on the show today, we got a lot we're going to get to. Next hour of the show, we got the water cooler cheat sheet at 7 o'clock straight up. Give you an hour to digest the biggest stories of the day before you get clocked in and locked in at work. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Kevin, John, going to join us here on the show from the Moving the Chains pod. And we're going to set you up for the biggest football games at the high school level around the area, while also telling you there was a massive news story for high school football that broke earlier this week. And John, Jarrell, and Kevin will be coming by later on today to give us kind of an update and breakdown of what that is. At 8:40 this morning, we are going to be joined by Doug Irwin. He is the CBO of the Greenville Triumph. Greenville Triumph got mentioned on the Men with Blazers pod the other day, which is arguably, you know what it is? It's the Pat McAfee show of soccer fans. It's a great show.
It's those British dudes, right?
It's those two British. They're actually Americans now. They have become naturalized citizens. But
if you were first tuning in, I mean,
yes, they're British guys.
Yeah, they sound like British guys.
Yeah, they're British guys. And they're great. They're great. It's a fantastic show. Anyway,
nothing wrong with being a British guy. I'm just pointing out that their
man.
accents are not the same as what you're used to, unless you're watching soccer, and then that's a normal thing, I suppose.
It is. They got the Triumph got mentioned by the Men in Blazers the other day, which is honestly pretty spectacular. That's big time
in a good way.
In a great way.
Yeah.
When Ronaldhino, one of the greatest players to ever lace up the boots, goes up and rings the bell at the New York Stock Exchange, and they got that big LED board behind it where they, like, whoever company it is, they put it up there. They put up Ronaldinho's company up there, but they also put the Greenville Liberty and Greenville Triumph logos on the New York Stock Exchange LED board, which means the Greenville Triumph and Liberty logos were seen around the literal world earlier this week, which I think is pretty damn cool, to be honest with you. So we'll talk to Doug at 8:40 this morning about how this partnership came about and what it means for the Triumph, what it means for the Liberty, and what it means for footy here in the Upstate. Looking forward to that. John, Jarrell, and Kevin, or some combination of them, will join us at 9 o'clock. And we got it official. We got good news, bad news. The bad news.
Should we even tease?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm really excited about
it.
Right. I'm really excited about it. We got good news, bad news for you wrestling fans. The bad news is that late last night we received an update that we will unfortunately not be joined by Pretty Deadly today, which Lonzo and I were very excited about it. We went from yes boy to sad boy real quick. But unfortunately, and for the record, the reason Pretty Deadly can't join us is for a good one. The WWE Superstars in town for tonight's SmackDown, which I am going to now, by the way. I decided, screw it. I'm buying the tickets. Let's go. The WWE Superstars are in town.
Could have had a console. Just saying.
No, I bought the. We're not the ones where that's where we're sitting.
Yeah, but still,
we went cheap seats.
Cheap seats are not cheap.
Went cheap seats.
So I mean,
it really wasn't that bad. I'll just talk about it during the break. Point here is the WWE Superstars are in town, and during the day today, they're actually going to be participating in hurricane relief efforts around the community. So we basically got told Pretty Deadly, unfortunately, scheduling conflict as they are doing some different stops to assist in hurricane relief. I can't really fault the boys for that. Quite the opposite. We greatly appreciate it. Pretty Deadly fashion icons.
See,
and Good Samaritans.
That's the thing. I had fashion questions for Pretty Deadly.
You
and
just asked me.
And I didn't read it. Anyway, and I didn't read the text clearly to know who our, oh no, now you know what happens when he does that. But it's like, okay, you don't get them, but you're getting this person. Okay.
Not
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
All right.
Not
I could ask her the questions
that
I was going to ask Pretty Deadly.
Not this person. This icon, this living legend, this one of the 4 horsewomen. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today at 9:40 to wrap up today's show, the iconic Bailey will be joining us here on the show. Hashtag Hug Life. I'm keeping it around. It never died for me. I've always been Hug Life. I will always be Hug Life.
You gotta let
Bailey
that go,
coming on
man.
the show.
She's not a hugger anymore.
I'm not letting it go.
She doesn't do that.
I believe in Hug Life.
She stabbed her buddies, those inflatable buddy things, like many years ago.
Listen, we all make mistakes. Okay, we all make mistakes. We've all done things we wish we could take back. I'd be willing to bet. I'd be willing to ask, because I'd be willing to bet that if we ask, do you regret stabbing the wacky wavy inflatable arm tube man and killing the Hug Life? Do you regret that? I'd be willing to say Bailey says, yeah.
I'd be willing to say she's glad she did it.
No.
Do you want to bet on that?
No, I also don't want to do that. But I'm going to say no. Bailey's going to say, don't worry, Rob Brown. I hear you. I see you. I understand you. I'm bringing back Hug Life.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think she needs to either.
Bailey
but
joining us in the very last segment of the show today is the WWE SmackDown. By the way.
So if she were in studio, we're going to get her on the phone, but if she were in studio, would you ask her for a hug?
Yes. 100%.
Wow.
Listen, now,
Wow.
no, wait, hang on. Let me clarify this. I do want to point out, you have been around us as you are part of us.
I have been around us.
You have been around us.
Unless you're referring to yourself as the royal we.
You have been, Eddie, you have been around us for all but a couple of wrestling interviews that we have done so far.
Actually, only one interview I missed.
I think there was 2, because there was one with that guy who shan't be named because it was the most disappointing
that's
ever.
The one
and I felt like there was one more.
I don't think so.
All right, doesn't matter. So
when you did wrestling interviews when we weren't on the same show, you would have me come on.
Yeah, because I'm a good person.
Yeah, and
because I'm a good friend.
Yeah, that's the reason why.
Because I'm a good friend.
And you knew Diesel would be snoozing.
And that. So when we've done interviews in the past, you know what I am? I'm a dude that when I go in for the handshake, I kind of curl the hand up because I think societally, we are getting to the point where the fist bump is slowly replacing the handshake. It's like evolution of a hand gesture.
If we could just get to the wave, I'm good. I'm good. When we get to the wave. Yeah. Then we've reached utopia for me.
I think we are getting to the point, slowly but surely, where the fist bump replaces the high five, right? Like there's going to be a day sometime in the distant but not so distant future where a father is going to tell the son the importance of a good, solid fist bump, right? Because I don't know about you. I got handshake lessons when I was growing up.
I had those discussions with my son.
Sure.
I didn't have anyone have them with me.
Sure.
But that's fine. I mean, I pass that on. A solid fist bump, you're probably going to end up fighting. I mean,
no,
you can't do a solid fist bump.
Yes,
that's
can.
A punch. A solid fist bump is a punch.
You're so dramatic. No, it's not.
Says the guy with sunglasses on.
Reach over. I'll show you a good solid fist bump. Look, reach over here. That's
Dude,
not a punch. That's a good solid fist bump.
That hurt, by the way.
Oh, God.
No, you can't do that.
Somebody get Lonzo some milk. He needs some calcium.
Actually, I do. I probably do, and I'm slightly lactose intolerant. But the thing is, you do that to someone you just met, they're going to want to throw hands. They absolutely are.
I know they're not because I fist bump and nobody's ever punched me.
He just took the opportunity to hit me. He's always wanted to do that, and now he finally did it.
Somebody hand Lonzo the Emmy for dramatic acting.
I can't feel 2 of my fingers.
Oh Lord, come on, man! You're making yourself look bad now.
By the way, do not listen to his advice. I've never had anyone fist bump me like what he just did. Maybe it's because people are like timid when
What's
they
up,
do
Damian
it.
Priest fist bump me? That's how he gave me the dap.
Yeah, I don't do that. So I didn't get one.
See, now it's a thing. Now it's a you thing.
Well,
now it's a you thing.
It's always a me thing.
Point here. Who are you? Me? There is, I think there's a movement, slow but sure movement, to replace the handshake with the fist bump down the line. And I, for the record, this is a COVID response.
You call me knuckle on knuckle. So should it be like in between so you don't get that sort of thing?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Good solid fist bump should be fist to fist.
I have never seen anyone do that. I really have not.
I don't tell you. Be around me more.
This is not a radio thing. This is a thing, and I've never seen anyone do that before. I've definitely never had anyone do that to me before.
Fist bump you?
Not like that. No.
I don't know what to tell you. That's how the bros work.
Do you do that with your wife? Did you fist bump her that way?
No, we don't fist bump.
Okay.
I don't fist bump my wife.
Okay.
I'm close enough that I enjoy.
Yeah, touching. I get it. That's fine.
So I think there will be a point sometime in the future as a response of COVID where the like a good solid handshake goes out the window and we're teaching the next generation about the fist bump. I think the fist bump takes over. And I don't have a problem with it, to be honest. Do you know why I don't have a problem with it? Because the one thing I learned during COVID is that some of you people are gross and don't wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. I work with some of you animals. I see you in bars.
Oh, here we go. Now we're getting that lesson again.
Wash your dang hands.
Yeah,
you psychopathic, gross-ass barbarian people.
You are on the edge of arbiter. You know what?
Washing your hands needs arbiter.
Here's the thing, right? I do wash my hands, but I just want to point out that the Neanderthals that you believe in, the cavemen that you believe in.
Believe in? What do you mean believe in? That were a thing.
They did not wash their hands.
Yeah, you know what happened to them? They're not around anymore.
If we came from them, as you believe, then they would have had to survive long enough for Rob Brown to exist.
There was a point up until the early 1900s where doctors wouldn't wash their hands between surgery. If your doctor came in and said, all right, time to get up in there, Zoe, don't worry, I didn't wash my hands, you'd be like, you son of a...
No, because at that point,
you wouldn't.
I would have been knocked out with a hammer, which was anesthesia back then. So I wouldn't know what was going on.
The hypothetical Slayer returns.
And then they would have brought in the leeches, which are just so clean.
Listen,
leeches.
The point here is wash your damn hands. And the lack of hand washing. That wasn't
even part of the whole thing.
I'm circling back around. It's called the weave. I learned about it, okay?
Is that why your hair looks like that?
The point here is I'm down with replacing handshakes with fist bumps. Because some of you are gross SOBs, I'm also down with the hug life. I'm down with the hug life, and I have Bailey to thank for that. Final segment of the show, Bailey's coming by. I know we're on it. I don't care. My man Kev gave us the phrase, going ham at 6 a.m. Kev, I got 60 seconds for you here on the show. Kev, you got 1 minute. What do you got, big dog?
Man, I'm telling you right now, the fist bump is going to replace the fist bump, elbow bump, a nice little bump.
Hell yeah.
All this gripping the hand thing. Listen, man, I'm in the bathroom the other day. Dude is in there cutting off the lights in the stall in the inside and walked right out and didn't wash his hands.
Bro, listen, Kev, I don't like confrontation. I don't like calling people out unless they absolutely have to. I see you leave the pooper and not wash your hands. I'm calling you out loud enough for the whole damn hallway to hear it.
I don't believe you. I don't think you say
Try
a word.
me.
I don't. Okay.
Try me.
All right. Let's go.
Try
me. I was
me.
a butcher for a long time, man.
Uh-oh.
So me and washing my hands is like second nature to me.
Kev,
wash your hands.
You know what I was that made me wash my hands?
I'm afraid of Kevin now. He's a butcher.
A kindergartner. We teach our kindergartners how to wash. If you can't wash your hands every time you touch your willy, you're a bad kindergartner. Forget adult.
Do we need to go the Willie way? I mean,
that's what you're doing in there.
We don't need to do that. That's not necessary. That's a picture.
I could have said it way more graphically than that.
Yeah, you could have.
Kev, thank you. Thank you for being a good person, Kevin. I appreciate your efforts.
My God.
Good man. Kevin, going ham at 6 a.m.
Kevin used to be a butcher.
Wash your hands.
Kevin the butcher scares me. It really does.
And fist bumps are replacing handshakes. Fist bumps, 2024. Handshakes, so 2000 and late.
Now, on my list of butchers, Abdullah and then Kevin.
That's a good list.
It's a good list. I think so.
You know what else is a good list? People who do sports flashes. Number 1, Lonzo.
At least in the building, because I'm the only one who does it. New York Yankees are back in the American League Championship series after finishing off the Kansas City Royals in 4 games with a 3-1 victory last night. Kansas City finishes the season with 86 wins and 76 losses, while the Yankees await the winner of Game 5 between Cleveland and Detroit. Sometimes I got to slow down. San Francisco 49ers knocked off divisional rival Seattle last night, 38-24. 49er quarterback Brock Purdy, also known as Brock Purdy, went 18-28 for 255 yards. Former Gamecock Deebo Samuel had 102 receiving yards and a touchdown in the win. San Francisco improves to 3-3, the same record as the Seahawks. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels head to Gaffney to take on the Indians. It's Burns versus Gaffney right here on your home for Burns Rebels football. The Fan, Upstate. By the way, no one fist bumps that hard, and my hand is hurting. Call me a wimp if you want, but I am also, arthritic and stuff, and nobody fist bumps like that. It just doesn't. I don't believe it. My favorite wrestler of all time still, I don't know if he'll ever be replaced in my mind, is Sting. Always will be, since I was a teenager. Was not a fan of him jumping off things before he retired, but, My current favorite wrestler was John Moxley for a long time. I don't know now because he just doesn't really wrestle as much. He just bloodies people. It might be Jacob Fatu, which is a weird thing to say. Samoan Werewolf, man. That dude is wicked. One of the few wrestlers that if they came into this room would scare both Rob and I.
Have you seen any of the clips from this Aaron Hernandez show?
The Gronk thing? I saw it yesterday. I saw it yesterday without hearing it.
Yeah.
I just watched the subtitles and watched the actions and everything. Looked pretty accurate to me. At least the Gronk part. What in the world? Are you kidding me? No, get it out of there. Tag on it.
What's that?
Someone replaced our promo number with something.
Oh,
As Patrick Mahomes brought up,
who was it?
Because that was bad, Troy. But so here's what
Cole,
happened.
no, Diesel, no, yeah, no. Cole called me yesterday and said that the other day or yesterday at the end of the show, he went to put in one of our 60s. And he said it was replaced with like a 53-minute long clip. And he's like, I don't know what happened. I always insert one of your 60s once an hour, and it got replaced by something.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send a. You should again.
He called me at night.
This is not a joke.
No, I should have let you know.
I know he should be calling me, not you. I'm going to have a talk with him because this is ridiculous. This is something that could have been fixed if he would have called the right person. And yes, I know this is on the stream, and I don't care. It's things get done if you call the person who actually would take care of it.
All that we're ultimately judged on. So at the end of the day, the championships, in my opinion, and I know that sounds self-serving because I was able to win 3, but that's what matters. So I thought this rider, I just thought, what do numbers mean? It's irrelevant. So my reply.
And if Jim scheduled any of those,
Yeah.
That would have messed everything up.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah.
It was never a shot at Patrick Mahomes. So that all makes sense. And I appreciate that because the game has changed, the stats have changed. But at what point was it the second Super Bowl or the third Super Bowl?
Beautiful Bobby Eaton had really good hair, Chris.
Well, you know what? I was just thinking about this too.
Here we go. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob and the great one, Lonzo, here on the show. We have got 1,000 things we got to get into. Coming up for the remainder of this hour, we're going to take a stroll through the college football and NFL schedule for the weekend. We have got coming up at 8 o'clock the audio blitz. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a very good chance the audio blitz is going to be like a couple of segments long because I got some good stuff the last 24 hours. So we'll do that for you. We got coming up at 8:40 this morning. Doug Irwin is the CBO of the Greenville Triumph. If you missed the news earlier this week, the legendary, and there are very few people that I would say legendary about and not be kind of like 50% to 99% sarcastic. Ronaldhino, legendary, a legend in the game of footy, and now a part owner of the Greenville Liberty and the Greenville Triumph, which I think is freaking cool. So we're going to talk to Doug Irwin about how that whole thing came about and shaped up, coming up at 8:40 this morning. Very much looking forward to that. We have got coming up for you at 9 o'clock, Kevin and John from the Moving the Chains pod going to join us to talk some high school footy. We'll set you up for the high school football schedule as games are picking back up now after Hurricane Helene came through the area. But we're also going to give you the update from the South Carolina High School Athletics Association coming up later on in the show about the decisions that they have made about the way the high school football season is going to go for the rest of the year. They have been covering this story since the hurricane came through a couple of weeks ago. And we'll give you a heads up on that. We'll let John Jarrell and Kev explain that to you at 9 o'clock. And then, as we mentioned, wrapping up the show today, 9:40, we are going to be joined by one of the 4 horsewomen of WWE, of women's wrestling, the iconic Bayley will join us on the show as WWE SmackDown is live tonight at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, and we're very much looking forward to that. We're going to talk about that coming up later on in the show with Bayley at 9:40 this morning. So make sure you're here for all of that today, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be a wonderful show. Of course, though, it is 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:03 if you're looking at the clock, which means you've got now less than an hour, less than 57 minutes before you got to get clocked in and locked in at the office. Another day of work ahead of you. The good news, it's Friday. Friday, got to get down on Friday. The better news, during your Friday, got to get down on Friday. You're going to get the opportunity to take a break, talk some sports. But to do that, you got to know what's going on. And if you need to know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, don't you worry. Lonzo and I are here with this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports this, hopefully, lovely Friday morning across the upstate. And if you're listening on the Odyssey app or watching on the stream around the world, let's jump right in. Item numero uno. Two-time WNBA Finals MVP Breanna Stewart missed a driving layup last night as the final buzzer sounded in overtime, and 17,732 New York Liberty fans went home sad as one of the most thrilling WNBA playoff games in recent memory came to its conclusion with the number 2 seed Minnesota Lynx erasing an 18-point second quarter deficit. A 15-point deficit with just over 5 minutes left to play, and they steal game 1 of the WNBA Best of 5 finals to knock off the number 1 seeded New York Liberty. Looked like the Liberty were fully going to capitalize on having home court advantage in game number 1, but they walked out with their heads down, 95-93. The Lynx get the W last night. At one point in the second quarter, the Liberty had, according to ESPN, a 96% win probability. That's bad to then lose that game. Here's what I do know. The Lynx shot over 50% from the floor. The Liberty less than 38. The Lynx shot 41% from 3. The Lynx had 12 turnovers. They caused 15. This team balled out last night, and they did so off the back of Nafisa Collier, 21 points. They did so off the back of Kayla McBride, 22 points, and they did so off the back of Courtney Williams, 23 5 and 5 last night. 3 Lynx starters scored more than 21 points in this game. Only 1 Liberty player did last night. That was Jonquel Jones, who had 24 to lead all scorers, but nobody else really able to pitch in. Sabrina Ionescu had 19 on the night. Brianna Stewart had 18. But again, you shoot 38%, you let the opponent shoot over 50%, you're going to lose that game more often than you don't. So game 1 goes to Minnesota. Game 2 in the best of 5 will be Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. But that's not the only news out of the dub from yesterday. Number 2 is the fact that next year, the WNBA will expand their regular season from 40 games to 44 games as of next year. And this is the one thing I am very excited about. The WNBA Finals next year will move from a best of 5 format to a best of 7 format. The audience numbers are there. The attendance numbers are there. Nearly 18,000 in attendance last night to watch this one. WNBA Finals go into best of 7 starting next year. And I'll tell you why I like it. Number 1, more basketball. You're never going to get me to say no to more games in just about any sport. Number 2, better teams win longer series. Okay? The shorter a series, the more likely it is that the not better team wins it. 1-game series, toss up, coin flip. Sometimes real bad teams can win a 1-game series. Best of 3, like a wild card series in MLB. Honestly, I think the MLB series should go 5 games for the wild card and then 7 for the DSCSM World Series. I think every series should be 7 games because I think better teams win longer series more consistently. So I'm excited about it going to 7 for both of those reasons. The WNBA making those announcements yesterday. Let's go to item numero 2. One half of your American League divisional series came to an end yesterday. The other half of the American League divisional series will play a pivotal game 5 coming up tomorrow. The Guardians were able to tie it up with the Tigers with a 5-4 win yesterday in Detroit Rock City. They will head back to Cleveland, Ohio, as the Drew Carey theme song used to say. Are Ohioans proud of Drew Carey? Like, is that like, do you guys have statues?
Absolutely.
That's Drew Carey?
That's our boy, dude.
I like Drew Carey.
Well, they're especially high on him in Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks. I loved the Drew Carey show.
So did I.
I thought it was great.
That's like me and my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's typical.
Pretty
Ohio.
solid representation of Ohio.
Yeah, it was. Still is.
How many Mimis did you know? At least one.
Still know some.
Related to a few Mimis.
I didn't say that.
You did not say that. 5-4 last night. Cleveland takes the dub. They are headed back to Detroit for a elimination game 5. Tanner Beebe went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Cade 3, gave up a dong for the Guardians last night. In the dub overall, the Guardians did rack up 11 hits, including 3 from Steven Kwan. Machado had 1. Fry had 1. Ramirez went yard. Thomas had a couple of them last night. The top half of the lineup for Cleveland is absolutely swatting right now. They are putting leather on lumber at a ridiculous rate. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. This series might be my favorite. Of the playoffs so far. It's either the Dodgers and the Padres or the Guardians and the Tigers. Here is all I'm going to say. Baseball's playoffs are electric. They are electric. They are the best right now. I am obsessed. I can't wait to see more. The Guardians and the Tigers will play one more back in C-Town to see who moves on to face the Yankees. Sad day in Kansas City, Missouri, as the Yankees knock off the Royals last night. 3-1 is your final, and the Yanks put away the Royals 3-1, the same as the score. Garrett Cole, the ace of the staff, had a gem of an outing. 7 innings, surrendered 6 hits, just 1 run, K'd 4 through 87 pitches. They went to Holmes and Weaver to close it out. Each tossed 3 outs. Neither gave up a single hit. On the other hand, starting Royals pitcher Michael Waka, 4.2 innings chased from the game after 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and just 2 Ks through 4.2. The Royals pen, not bad. Not bad. Ursa gave up 2 hits, but Zerba, Schreiber, and Long, the 3 of them came in, gave up none. The Yankees put up their 3 runs in the first, 5th, and 6th, scored 1 apiece. The Royals got 1 back in the 6th. It kind of felt like maybe the rally caps would pop back on and we would take this thing back to the Bronx for uno mas. But it was not to be. The Yankees on to the ALCS, where they await the winner of the Guardians and Los Tigres coming up this weekend. We do have a game 5 tomorrow back in LA when the Dodgers and the Padres, tonight, where the Dodgers and the Padres will determine who joins the New York Mets in the NLCS. Game 5 between the Tigers and the Guardians is Saturday, with first pitch at 8:08 p.m. The winner of that game joins the Yankees, and then we will get the NLCS underway Sunday night when the Mets take on the winner of the Dodgers and the Padres in game 1. That'll be at 8:15. The ALCS will kick off on Monday when the Yankees take on the winners of the Guardians and the Tigers at 7:37. By the way, a 4:08 first pitch between the Mets and whoever comes out of the other side in the NLCS game 2 on Monday. Why are we playing a playoff game at 4:08 in the afternoon?
So people might actually watch it?
Yes, because, famous primetime sports watching period Monday at 4 p.m.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who works on Monday?
Yeah. And at 4 o'clock, aren't you all done with work at 4 p.m. on Monday?
Yeah, but it's baseball, so it's okay.
I'm not going to stand for your slander today. I'm not going to do it. Baseball's playoffs are electrifying.
Yeah, take the glasses off.
Electrifying. No, I shan't.
You're not intimidating anyone.
I shan't. I won't. Item number 3. According to the great Heather Dinich, quote, following an unprecedented meeting between the SEC and the Big Ten on Thursday,
Poof.
the commissioners of both conferences addressed multiple weighty issues facing college athletics and strongly pushed back on recent pitches from private equity groups to help offset increased expenses that will result from the NCAA's expected House settlement.
That is not what Heather sounds like. So
How does Heather sound?
I don't know why you use that voice. I mean, when you're...
Here's why I use this voice. Because I get very frustrated when people that have all the money say, everything's great. I'm great. Everything's amazing. I have all the money. Everything's great. No.
So you're saying that if you had all the money, you wouldn't say everything's great?
No, everything would be great for me. For me. It bothers me that Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti would sit down, the family, just having a conversation over some, I don't know, some gabagool. All right? Sitting down.
Thought you were going with Ziti.
I was going to go Ziti. Big Ziti. I taught myself how to make Ziti, by the way. Oh, I'm good at it. I am good at it.
Have you had other Ziti to compare it to?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Right.
Let me tell you, I'm an Italian snob, Lonzo. Snob. When I say snob.
Wait, you're a snob about anything with those glasses on? Hard to believe.
I'm an Italian. These are Italian glasses. I'm an Italian snob. These are expensive glasses. I'm an Italian snob.
Could have bought a console if you didn't buy those glasses.
No, I've had these for a while. I just recently broke them back out. I am an Italian snob. How big of a snob are you, Rob? Don't worry, I'll tell you.
I didn't need to ask that question, but go ahead.
I was going to tell you anyway. I am an Italian snob to the point that unless it is her birthday or someone died, I'm not going to that one Italian restaurant. You know the one that's like the strip mall, not even strip mall, the like outlet mall Italian restaurant of choice. You know the one. You know the place that has a 2-word name. You know the
who
place.
are welcome to sponsor me, not him.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because if I want Italian, I'm going to the hole in the wall with the darked out windows where the chef's name's Giuseppe and where I feel like my life's in slight danger if I accidentally eavesdrop over a conversation. All right? If I'm getting Italian, I'm getting it from an Italian. If I'm getting Italian, I'm getting real Italian, not going to a place where they microwaved up something. All right? I want my good Italian. Anyway, Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti yesterday addressed the media, and they said, when asked about the possibility of private equity investments into the game, Tony Petitti said, I've yet to see a single thing in any plan that I've learned details about that contains things that we couldn't do ourselves and our A4 colleagues as well. At the end of the day, there's a strong commitment that you have the ability to do all this ourselves. The notion that college football is broken, what we do is broken, just not right. End quote. Here's the fun thing. Everybody else says it is. Everybody else says it is. All the A4 colleagues, they all say it is. They all say they're in trouble. They all say this. We're having to swim upstream against the bleep river. All right? It's not good right now. It bothers me a little bit that the two commissioners of the two conferences whose decision-making process has put us in this spot then get on the microphone and go, actually, everything's good and you're all being dramatic. Yeah, it's easy to say that when you have all the money. It's easy to say that. You know, it's you know why people get frustrated when celebrities come out and endorse politicians on either side? Why? Because it's real tough for me to take you seriously when you go, here's the struggle being faced by everyday Americans, and you're doing it from a bleeping mansion in Malibu. It's real tough for me to think that you understand the struggle of people in my and the next generation who can't afford houses anymore. When we're at a point where people in my and the next generation, 70+% of them live paycheck to paycheck. You want to know why people ain't having kids no more? Because we can't afford to. All right? But then we're going to get lectured from people who got nannies for their kids, who got multiple houses that they vacation in. It's the same thing. I don't really need to hear the commissioners of these two conferences come out and tell me, yeah, we don't need private money. Everything's great. You don't need private money.
America.
You're good. You got all the money. You don't need any more. I'd be willing to bet if the Big 12 can find a way to get Buc-ee's to pay them $1 billion to slap their beaver on the field.
Good fit.
Real good fit.
Yeah.
If the ACC can get QT to slap their logo on the field and get $1 billion out of it, they gonna jump at that. But I got these two guys out here, and I think Petitti and Sankey have done great jobs for their conferences. Obviously, they got all the gold, therefore they make the rules. But no, I'm not going to sit here and let you tell me everything's great. Nothing's right. Don't change a thing unless we tell you to. Of course you feel that way. You got all the damn money. It's easy when you got all the damn money. We'll talk more about this later in the show, The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
My world.
All right, guys, quick reading. We're coming right back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around.
I'll go out and get Steve shirts.
Go get. I'll just bring a few. You can pick.
They won't fit me.
Let's take a look at the college football schedule upcoming. Had a couple of games last night. James Madison smoked Coastal Carolina 39-7. Middle Tennessee State falls to Louisiana Tech 48-21. UTEP 17, Western Kentucky 44 in a blowout there. We do have 3 games on tap tonight, including a top 25 game. And this one's very interesting to me. Utah 5.5-point favorites against Arizona State, but they have got a handful of injuries due the Utes, Anna. So that one at 10:30 tonight might be worth a kick and a watch. Let's go down the sketty for the Saturday slate, shall we? And it kicks off at noon. The Gamecocks on the road, Bryant-Denny Stadium, where the Alabama Crimson Tide coming off of the biggest upset of the decade when Vanderbilt knocked them down, the biggest upset since Appy State knocked off Michigan in the Big House. Alabama going to be out to prove a point against South Carolina. I asked this question in the first hour. I'll ask it again now. And your answers, you can text them to 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. Or go on the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstates page on the Odyssey app, click the microphone button, and leave us a 60-second voice note on the Ray Memorial Hotline. Go to the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstate page, click the microphone button, and leave a 60-second voice note. Here is my question for thou. Aside from win, because that's the obvious answer, be realistic here. And I'm not talking you got to be as pessimistic as me. Don't go as silver lining as Lonzo. Genuine question. What do you want to see out of South Carolina for you to jump back on the Ray Memorial Hotline on Monday and say, Rob Brown, that was a successful game for the Gamecocks? Yes, we all know win, but realistically what performance, what stats, what numbers, what abstract concept do you have that you would rejoin the show on Monday and say, Rob Brown, that was a successful weekend for us, for the Gamecocks of South Carolina? Lonzo, I've thought about this since we asked it an hour ago, and here's my answer. I am going to say it will be a successful weekend if you keep Bama to 34 points or fewer. And it will be a successful weekend if offensively you end up with let's say 200 passing yards or more. I need to see you moving the ball through the air. And it's going to be tough against this Bama defense. But after the game I saw last week where you weren't opening it up, it didn't feel like you were giving Lenora Sellers the chance to take advantage of his talent. I need to see the pass game opened up. And defensively, I need to see you fight Alabama. I don't think you're keeping them out of the end zone. Hell, I think they're going to get in there a few times. But if I see you put up a fight, keep them below 35, maybe keep the red zone percentage low, keep them, let's say, below 50% on third down. These are the things I'm looking for to say that was a successful Saturday, even though I think this team's losing by about 27.
Wow, way to be negative and kind of positive.
Not negative, realistic.
Thing. Okay, fine. That's your reality. I don't want it to be mine. Obviously, the thing you want is for the Gamecocks to win. Probably not going to happen. I want to see proof that was just one bad game, because I keep saying it, and that's what I believe it was. You come out and play the way you did against LSU, the way you did against Kentucky, and show up for the game and be successful in plays, get some first downs. And I think without a win, the most successful you can be is to hold them under 2 touchdowns.
I wish you the best of luck. I don't think you're holding them under 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
I wish we still had that window up.
I don't think you are going to have them under 14 points after the first quarter.
By the way, spitting across the thing is just as bad as not washing your hands. I'm just gonna throw that out there. To me, it's come on, dude. We also come on. There's no way that vapor is not escaping your mouth when you do a raspberry.
Vapor.
Yes.
Droplets. Texter said a back and forth contest with a 10-point spread on the final. Texter, I appreciate it. Your hopes are way too high. You're a 21.5-point dog coming into this game.
Here's the problem I have with this. You're asking people to give their expectations, but you're just shooting down everyone's, yeah, but you're wrong. Yeah, but you're wrong. Their expectations are their expectations. Do you want them, or do you want them so you can criticize them?
No. What I want is them to be realistic. Okay.
Your reality.
No.
Fans' reality and your reality are
As
two
I
totally
pointed
different
out
things.
yesterday, when I said I expect the spread to be 20.5 and it was 21.5, there's no more neutral entity on planet Earth than the sports bookmakers in Las Vegas. They don't give a damn about your team or my team, your happiness or mine. They care about getting that number as on the nose as they can get it and not anything else.
You gave your opinion about what you think will happen. You didn't give Vegas's opinion.
No, my opinion is Vegas's opinion.
Wow. So you don't have an opinion on it?
I said 20.5 and they said 21. In fact, their opinion is less optimistic than mine. I said 20 points. They said, nah, you're losing by 22. Okay. So the point here is I get it, but like to me for this game, that's like if you said, hey, Rob, you're going to SmackDown tonight. What's your expectations? And I said, Rhea Ripley to ask me on a date. Yeah, no, that's not a thing. And you can, and you say,
just got
Rob,
married.
that's ridiculous.
Why would you even say that on the air?
That's because it's because of how outlandish it is. That's the point, right? It's because it's outlandish. Because if you're telling me you think you're within 10 of this game, I'll tell you this. If South Carolina is within 10 points when this final whistle blows on Saturday, if they're within 10 points, I was going to say I'll do something. I don't know what I'm going to do on Monday.
Apologize for your it's over
profusely.
Thing? Okay, there
profusely.
We go. There we go.
I will profusely apologize on Monday.
Just come in and say it was one bad game. That's all you got to say.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Here's the thing, so that we're clear.
I think we will accept that.
You could have a great game and still lose by that many coming up on Saturday.
Absolutely. But if you look at the team and you look at and you see the notable difference between last week's game and this one, and you see signs that they're playing like they played the couple games that we saw when they were pretty dominant, and they still get beat by a better team. They still get beat by a better team.
I would say in that spot, in that moment, then we would come in and say, successful weekend.
There's no way. I would already say that. You just don't believe at all. And that's fine. That's fine.
See, here's the thing. And I think this might be, I think we may have nailed down. And Clemson fans, we're coming to you in Wake Forest in the next segment. This might be the most succinct way to describe the philosophical difference when it comes to analyzing football between you and I. It ain't about belief. It's about, what am I saying? I could believe that I'm gonna win $1 billion in the Powerball this weekend. But if I go out there and act as if that is the reality, I'm gonna have a real bad time.
This is why I'm a person of the people, because I think the way the people think, you only think about numbers and stats and things.
That's completely untrue.
I mean,
was I talking about numbers and stats when I was talking about the concepts of discipline, of game planning, of execution?
It's like you had to build yourself up to get into it.
Because the take about the way that I approach this is just incorrect.
Hey, you tell me how I think all the time, so I'm just going to tell you how you think.
Right, but just like you tell me that I'm wrong all the time about how you think, I'll tell you why you're wrong here. The reason you're wrong in this situation is that, no, I say it all the time. Do I lean on stats? Do I lean on numbers? Yes, because stats and numbers are how we evaluate things. If you are going to make a purchase of something, Lonzo needs a new coffee maker. He's got to get a new coffee maker for the house. Do you just
horrible example? You should throw headphones in there because I have to go make a headphone purchase.
Lonzo's got to buy new cans, and there's ways that we approach buying new headphones. You can go into the store and put all the displays on your head and push the little demo button and listen to them and go, oh, I like the extra bass in this one. The mids in this are too much. The volume control, there's not enough of a level between too quiet and too loud. It's either too quiet or too loud. That doesn't work, yada, yada, yada. You do all your research, but you're quantifying things when you do that, right? You're even if you don't know what you're quantifying, You're quantifying the volume. You're quantifying the levels. You're quantifying the EQs. You're quantifying the bass, the mids, and the trebles. You're quantifying these things so that you can make an educated decision here. As opposed to going in and going, I like Sony and I believe these are good, and just buying those. You don't do that. You don't just like a thing and believe it's going to be good and spend your money on that. You go in and you put them to the test.
Except for shoes and cars, but you know.
You're telling me you bought that car, you just went, I believe this car is going to be good, and
All right,
dropped.
by the way, that wasn't about me. There's some people, I ain't buying that. I'd rather be
For sure.
dead than being a Ford.
For sure. And those people attack life in a bad way. All right? If you just see thing and automatically believe in thing, you know what you are? You're a mark. You're going to get conned. That's how the game works. Always has.
No one wants to be a mark.
No one wants to be a mark. All right? So, here's some answers we've got so far. Texas said, to keep it real, the Gamecocks just need to show life on offense. The offense has been very underwhelming. And please, for the love of, I got to go find the second half of that text. I'll come back to that. We'll be over by the first quarter. Less than 2 turnovers, more than 20 points, and holding Alabama to less than 40. That would be a realistic expectation. I agree. Texter said, you asked what would basically consider a good performance by South Carolina. This would be, yes, winning would be, what would be a realistic expectation. I'm sorry, winning's not one. It's just not.
You know what's unrealistic? Vanderbilt beating Alabama, but it happened last week.
Sure. And again, I'll feel like the world's biggest jackass, and I will own it on Monday because I own it when I'm wrong. But it ain't happening. Texter said, I still expect to lose by 20, though, LOL. Texter said, bro, Lonzo saying, why would you say that on the air has me dying. Lonzo says that once a day. Welcome to the Rob Brown Show. Texter says, everyone can have a personal expectation. Some are just delusional. Texas said, you can buy me a whole steak if they're within in 10. I'll tell you what. If they
Don't you do it.
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. I'll buy myself a whole steak. Here's what I'll do. If the Gamecocks win this game, the Gamecocks are within 10, I will re-hit the wife with the who wants to sex Rob Brown line. I will film it and put it on social media to my own demise.
No.
That's what I'll do. Is that good enough for you?
Just a proposition, nothing after that.
No, I'm gonna set the camera up. When she walks in the door, I'll ask her, and then I'll let you see her reaction as my punishment.
That's what I was saying. Just a proposition. Yeah. No Shannon Sharp. We don't. No.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. Who wants to sex Rob Brown?
Premature fading.
The worst kind of fading. I swear this never happens to me.
When you reach a certain age, sometimes premature
Okay,
fading
all right,
happens.
we got it.
It does. I mean, Or if it's like your fourth fade in an hour. I mean, Don't do it. That's bad. You're over the line. Your mirror's over the line. So she is parked poorly. You got time to go down and tell her to fix it because she does her makeup every morning. So she's getting ready to do her makeup probably. It's magic, Lester. Some sort of cosmic force.
Mike, we definitely enjoyed the little halftime show that Mother Nature gave us inside Hilton, but now we got the second half, and I got to remind everyone, you might still be in the eye right now. There's a lot more to go. I think back to.
We already played that
yesterday.
Yeah.
I can't not say it's too good.
Okay. Just remind you.
Oh, man, I was really over this side.
Clemson fans got to be really overexcited. God, I love XL, man. Dude's a national treasure. Absolute icon of stage and screen.
That'll be great, man. That'll be great, man.
We got to keep that man around forever. Just forever, dude. All right. We've got Clemson taking on Wake Forest on Saturday. This is very interesting because there is basically one thing that this team, I think, is capable of doing in Wake Forest. And for the record, this is a game that Clemson is coming into as a massive favorite. And they are going to stay that way. In fact, I think the money will probably continue to trickle in on Clemson and move that line up or down a little bit more.
Are they a favorite, as much of a favorite as Alabama is over South Carolina?
That's a great question. Let's go look at what the line is today. They were, I do not believe, favored by more than Bama was over South Carolina earlier this week, but we'll go pull it up real quick just because I'm curious. What I will say is this. This Clemson team they've broken open by being able to run the ball to the point that running the ball doesn't become mandatory in games. And I would point out that Cade Klubnik is quietly having one of the best years of all. Clemson is favored by 20.5, which is 1 point fewer than Alabama's favored over. So just to put it into perspective, and just because I think it's something fun to point out, you know how optimistic Great One's been about South Carolina having a shot at Alabama down 21.5? Funny to me that you have been absolutely bleep talking Wake Forest having absolutely no chance to have any chance at Clemson, and they're actually favored by less than Alabama's favored over South Carolina.
Said 1 point, dude. It's not like it's come on.
No, I think the point here is when I sit here and go, it's a 20-point game, and you're like, oh, well, and you're upset about it. Wake Forest is favored. Wake Forest is a smaller dog to Clemson, although you're the one that's been saying Wake Forest doesn't have a chance.
Well, here's the thing.
If South Carolina's got any sort of chance, so's Wake Forest.
Either I believe in Clemson, who I can't stand a lot of Clemson fans, or I'm just doing it so people won't think that I'm coming at Clemson because I don't like Clemson. I mean, it's one of those things, but I believe that Cade is finally playing up to his potential and that Clemson is doing what they should be doing in the ACC, back on top. Clemson is the ACC again. I know Miami is going to have something to say about that. We'll see. But good for Clemson and good for the fine people who root for Clemson. Not you punks, and you know who you are, but the fine people, good for them.
All right, so what does Clemson need to prevent Wake Forest from doing, and what does Clemson specifically need to do in order to beat Wake Forest? I got a couple of thoughts for you here. Number one, Wake Forest is quietly a decent defense. Wake Forest is going to do everything they can to make Cade Klubnik win this game with his arm, and just his arm. Wake Forest defense.
In the past, that would have been a problem, but he's as you said quietly, he's doing really well this year.
That team, Clemson, averaging 40 points and 465 yards per game. Yeah, they're doing pretty well. Here's the thing. Of those 465 yards per game, roughly 200 of them per game are rushing yards, and they're averaging 32 carries per game. Clemson has balanced their offense, and this is something we talked about in the offseason. Clemson is rushing the ball 32 times per game. They are throwing the ball 33 points per game. Now, these stats are a little misleading because you had 46 rushing yards against Georgia, and you had 460 passing yards against Appalachian State. So if you were to take those two outliers out of the equation, the awful pass game against Georgia, the awful rush game against Georgia, and the incredible passing game against Appalachian State. You take those two games out of the equation, these numbers are actually more balanced than they look. The passing yards number comes from 465 per game down to like 425 per game, and the rushing yards number of 200 per game comes up to like 250 per game. So it's pretty balanced.
So the transitive thing, whether it works or not, sometimes people think about it. So the fact that Clemson lost to Georgia, Georgia lost to Alabama, Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, therefore that loss to Georgia is worse. Is that true or not?
No, because again, I don't, much like I tell you all, be warned of the transitive property of football. I also don't, this has been a fight that we have had for years. Remember, here's my thought. The whole reason that non-SEC fans for years have been screaming about how obnoxious SEC fans are is because SEC fans love to lean on the transitive property of football to explain why everybody's good, right? Vanderbilt's got to be a top 5 team in the country now because they beat Alabama. That's not how it works. That's why we play the game. So
I believe they say if Vanderbilt was in the ACC,
they beat everybody. They'd be the best there.
At least be top 5 right now.
I don't think they say that, but that's kind of the argument they make. You're not wrong.
I mean, I took the supposed worst team in the SEC. They're not right now, but normally. And that's what, if you really love your conference, you're taking the worst team and saying it can outdo any other conference.
If you took elementary level statistics, first year statistics in high school or middle school, maybe college, wherever you went.
Believe it or not, I hated that class.
You know what an outlier is, right? You got a graph, you got all your data points. They're all kind of spread around a little bit. And then way over here, you got one data point where something got wonky, something happened, that's Alabama Vanderbilt, all right? But as far as this game goes, as far as Clemson Wake goes, in the 4 games since losing to Georgia, Clemson is averaging 234 rushing yards per game, have run for over 250 yards 3 times. That average makes them a top 10 rushing team in the nation. We've talked about the fact that the offense is varied up, and it is. It's varied up and it's balanced, right? So if you are Wake Forest and Phil Maffa, who is the right now 20th most effective statistically running back in the country, averaging 7.3 yards per carry and has run for over 100 yards 3 times per season. Here's what I believe about Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik 100% looks better. 100% is putting up a season that is threatening to get him an invite to New York City at the end of the year. But as much as I do think it is because, and I do believe, Dabo Swinney finally handed the controls over to Garrett Riley to allow him to run the offense you wanted him to run when you hired him, I also believe that having a more effective running back in Phil Maffa, having a more dynamic backfield with Maffa as the one, with all due respect, because I'm a big fan, Will Shipley back there, who was very finesse, very good, but not as dynamic as Maffa. What you've done is created a world where defenses are now keyed on the run because they have to be. Because if you give any sort of chink in the armor of your run defense, Phil Maffa's going to run 2 through, over, and past you. And when that happens, the back half of the defense becomes a little less congested. It becomes a little less busy back there. Now Cade Klubnik has one, maybe 2 fewer defenders floating around in the backfield. He's able to see a little bit more effectively. And when he can see, he can deliver. Wake Forest has effectively got to remove Phil Maffa from this game and make Cade Klubnik win the game as a passer by himself. And I'm going to tell you, if there's one strong point for Wake Forest defense, one strong point, it is the front four. If they are able to clog up the middle of the lane, if they are able to make inside running not a thing for Clemson, then it does two things. Number one, it makes Clemson go back to that old school offense, which means they gotta start throwing those screens. They got to start running around the off tackles. And that's not their game. We know that now. It's just not their game. As much as Dabo wants it to be, it's not their game. So if you can take away the interior run and make Clemson either run the old school offense or force Cade to throw it way more than 50% of the time, you got a shot.
I do have a question for you. When does false hope turn into confidence? Because if you look at their schedule so far and who they're playing the rest of the year, I mean, they should improve every single game. We'll see what they do against South Carolina until they get to Miami. What if all this is just false hope and they get to Miami and get destroyed?
Talking about Clemson?
Yes. Because unless something happens, they're going to face Miami in the ACC championship.
Look, I've heard you say it earlier in the show.
Just look at who
you're hitting
facing.
them with the Paul. They ain't played nobody defense right now.
You play who's in front of you.
Sure.
I mean, you don't. I mean, there is some things that go into the ACC is the ACC. The like they play the Citadel. I mean, you need to play teams like that, and South Carolina is a rivalry. So. You play the teams in front of you. They're looking good against the teams that are in front of them. Is the ACC where it normally is, or is it down to the point that it's making them look better than what they are? And when they face a real team, potentially in Miami, what will happen?
I mean, I would think at that point, and by the way, I do think there are 2 games on this schedule remaining for Clemson that are truly dangerous. 2. Louisville and South Carolina.
I was going to say, but this week is not one of them.
Right. Now, no. Let me be clear. Clemson should demolish Wake Forest. Vandy should have demolished Alabama, right? And this is going to be...
No, Alabama should have demolished.
Oh, Alabama, right.
Yeah.
Alabama should have demolished Vandy. This is going to be something that is going to be a reality for a very long time, because of how fresh this Vandy Alabama upset is. Every team is going to have games like this one where in years gone by, we'd have been like, Clemson, Wake Forest, how much do y'all really want to spend more than one segment on this, right? But now we're like, we got to evaluate this because there's danger. And you're on the road, there's danger here. The other element of this game that is very interesting to me is Wake Forest is not just creative with the offense. Wake Forest is a team that's got a little flash at the wide receiver position. Dabo Swinney talked about this earlier in the week. Wake Forest has got a little flash at the wide receiver position. It's not a great team. Nobody's arguing that it is, but they've got a little flash at the quarterback position. At the wide receiver position. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of quarterbacking that I can lean on. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of quarterbacks. They did beat NC State, and I've told you all the whole time, I think this is the best NC State Wolfpack teams. Granted, they turned out to be 3-3, so maybe I was just wrong about the pack. But I do know they've got some razzle-dazzle out there, and there's one kid, Damon Claiborne, running back. Last game against NC State. The one thing I will say about NC State is this. They got a stiff little defense. That's why Clemson's performance against the Wolfpack, to me, I absolutely do think they deserved more credit than they got for it. Claiborne gutted this defense. 20 carries, 136 yards, 6.8 yards per carry, and a pair of tutties, including a 32-yarder. This guy can go. So what Wake is going to do is do what Clemson needs to do. Balanced. I want it run 20 to 25 times. I want it thrown 25 to 30. I want you to run the legs off of Damon Claiborne. I want you to go hit Micah Mays or Horatio Fields or whoever else as a wide receiver is getting open. Wake Forest is going to play textbook offense, and hope that those three guys, Claiborne, Mays, and Fields, can do circus things within a textbook offense. Clemson, don't let them have a big play. That's it. Don't let anybody go above and beyond. If you just let them play their textbook game at the what their cap should be for talent level, and you don't let them have a circus catch here and there that changes the momentum of the game, you'll be fine. But you allow them to come across the middle, make a circus catch, and pop one, they're going to start thinking, we can be Vandy to your Alabama. They got playmakers. Claiborne's a playmaker. Mason Fields, they're playmakers. I don't know that Bachmeier, their quarterback, is necessarily a guy who's going to jump off the page at you, but he can hit an open receiver. Discipline and assignment. It really is simple. You break discipline, you break assignment, you're going to get Alabama. Because this team, this is their Super Bowl. This is what they got left on the schedule, does Wake Forest. After Clemson, they got UConn, Stanford, Cal, UNC, Miami, and Duke. Clemson, to me, if there's an upset on this schedule, this feels like the one they would believe is possible. This feels like the one they think they can Vandy you. Disciplined assignment football, Clemson wins this game. Disciplined assignment sport. Lonzo's going to do a really good sports flash now.
I do have good hair. New York Yankees are back in the American League Championship Series after finishing off the Kansas City Royals in 4 games with a 3-1 victory last night. And the hallway down there is going to be dark today. Kansas City finishes the season 86-76, while the Yankees await the winner of the Game 5 between Cleveland and Detroit. San Francisco 49ers knocked off divisional rival Seattle last night, 36-24. 49er quarterback Brock Purdy went 18-28 for 255 yards. Former Gamecock Deebo Samuel had 102 receiving yards and a touchdown in the win. San Francisco improves to 3-3, the same record as the Seahawks. Tune in tomorrow at 12:30 as Furman Paladins take on Chattanooga Mocs. It's Furman versus Chattanooga right here on your home for Paladins football. Also, tune in tonight at 7 p.m. as Burns Rebels head to Gaffney to take on the Indians. For some reason, I decided to put an M in Burns. It's Burms. Which berms are a word. I mean, because sometimes people drive up on the berm. Like this morning when people were sleepy. And then you have to make that decision when they go into the left lane. You know they're going to overcompensate and come all the way back to the right lane as they try to right themselves. Then you got to decide, do I just, make my smart car go up to 90 if it will go that fast and go around those people?
Fortunately for me, the interstate from my house to here is empty in the mornings.
I wish that was the case for me. Also, the indecision where 85 is about to happen and Woodruff Road, the exit right there, and people can't decide what they're supposed to do, and they'll go lane right in front of you. It's
Usually on my exit on the way home, there's usually a stack of cars waiting to get off the exit. And then there was a dude probably a week ago that the line to get off on the exit was probably 20, 25 cars long. Like you could see it coming down the interstate. Yeah. This guy drives past the entire line to get to the front, then puts his blinker on to get over. Nobody's moving. So there's no room to get over. He stops in the middle lane of the interstate waiting to be let over into the turn lane. And I'm like, bro, you're gonna get somebody killed.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of people. I won't say a lot. Yeah, there are a lot of people like that. I wish there wasn't a lot, but there are a lot of people out there. Like the people out here will hold up everybody just to let someone coming out of over where Lowe's is get out. There's lights down there. Go to the lights, dummies. Seen so many accidents right there. That's a good question, Stephen. And I'm sure as a fantasy guy, Rob will answer your question and give you the right answer.
No, you should not start Rat Daddy over Dak. Not for his rookie game.
Oh,
It's good to roster him. I've got him rostered too.
rat daddy. It hurts so bad. Put yourself in Rattler's shoes. Would you want to be called rat daddy?
Rat Daddy.
Or would you want to hurt someone for calling you that?
I mean, again, nicknames are awarded, not selected. If that's what the boys decide they're going to call you, that's what you're getting called.
What day is it? What time is it? I don't know.
Friday, indeed. Not just Friday, but Friday and hour number 3 of the show. Feeling the good vibes, my dudes and dudettes. Welcome back. Rob Brown Show continues. Rob of the Great One Lonzo with you here on a lovely upstate Friday morning. We get set for the college and NFL weekend. Coming up on the show, in 40 minutes, we'll be joined by Doug Irwin, the CBO of our Greenville Triumph. Doug, the CBO, and now, technically, a business partner with Ronaldhino, who is joined. Yes, that Ronaldhino. Yes, the legend Ronaldhino, who is now a partial member of the Greenville Triumph, which I think is spectacular, to be honest with you. I think it's spectacular. I think it's awesome. And we're going to talk with Doug coming up in 40 minutes about that. Then we turn the mics over to John and Kevin and Jarrell from the Moving the Chains podcast. Interesting discussion to be had there, as a major decision was made by the South Carolina High School Athletics Association about the way the high school football season is going to play out this year. We're going to tell you what that is and break down some of the games upcoming. Then through the final hour of the show, we will do the final segment of the show alongside WWE icon Bailey, #HugLife.
Just realized this will be my second interview with a horse, one of the 4 horsewomen. So now I've got to get to one more, because the third one I don't care.
I mean, you don't care doesn't mean she don't deserve some respect.
I'm not.
Put some respect.
I'm not interested in interviewing Becky now.
I mean, be wrong. That's fine.
It's fine.
Fine. I'll do the Becky interview by myself.
If it should ever happen,
get the Irish last kicker in here. I'm all about it.
I will hog the interview and jump in every time, so Rob can't ask questions, just because it will really make him mad.
See what happens.
I'll just turn your mic down.
I listen to Becky read a phone book. All right.
Wow. This is the Irish thing,
Yup. No bones about it.
If she gets really Irish, I got a better shot of understanding her than you do.
I am Irish.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Ohio?
Come on. I work.
Come on's not a reason.
I work with an Irish guy like every week, and you don't. So
yes,
I'm getting the nuances. I'm getting the inflections, all the things that you
Lonzo
don't
might
get.
as well be from Dublin at this point.
I might as well be. I could be. You don't know.
The audio blitz, the best audio we have picked up from the interwebs over the last 24 hours. We don't have to talk about this one all that much, but Terry Bradshaw's unintentionally hilarious, he said, and then once again forgot to do the thing because he's an idiot. Hold, please. Don't worry. I got this. Terry Bradshaw's unintentionally hilarious.
The question would be, as Kurt said, do you put Watson down now? He has not played well since he's been in Cleveland. Simply has not played well.
I don't want to put him down. I'd want to sit him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That was a little harsh.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant, Terry, okay?
I like Gronk coming to Terry Bradshaw's aid there. I know what you meant. If you're on the same wavelength as Gronk,
wow.
Even me, I'm a big Gronk guy. If you're on the same wavelength as Gronk, you may need to evaluate your communication skills.
See, I can't imagine ever having to correct someone on the air. That would be it's uncouth.
Would you want to put him down? Incredible. Clark Lee is the head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores. This audio posted. It's a little Well, they added some dramatic tunage, and it makes it great. Clark Lee, the head coach of the Doors, here's what he said before leading the Vanderbilt Commodores back out onto the field to finish off the upset of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
You're ready to close this game off. Okay? There's nothing extra here. It doesn't take anything extra. The game is yours, guys. You set it up on a tee. Now go take it. You take it by being focused, being detailed, communicating, playing our game. Stop by stop, possession by possession. The challenge is this: in the present, every moment. I'm not worried about anything later, anything past. In the present, every moment. Stop by stop, possession by possession. We said a 10-possession game. Let's work together. That was the word, right? Let's work together and close this thing up. You're ready. Let's go get it.
Give me a helmet. Give me a helmet. I'm going through a wall for this, man. I like that focused intensity. All right, that's my thing. That's what gets the old blood pumping, that focused intensity. That hype stuff, some of the kids react. I'm good with that.
It's too well spoken.
Give me that focused intensity.
I need some more gruff. I need some more intensity.
Like I said,
it's not that kind of
like
intensity. Yeah.
Some people want the focused intensity.
That's like sitting in the boss's office kind of intensity. I don't like that intensity.
I see. That's what gets me fired. It is one thing to go, Rob, I believe in you, son. Get out there. All right, that's one thing. That's fine. That's what motivates some people. Give me that focused. We can do this. We're gonna do it. Go out there and rip their hearts out. That's what gets the juices going for Rob Brown. That's great. I'm ready to put on a helmet for Clark Lee today. There's no reason to play this other than speaking of I am the hype. Speaking of the Vanderbilt win, Diego Pavia, third quarter, the Doors up a pair on Alabama, 23-21. Diego Pavia threw a touchdown. The call on Vanderbilt radio was spectacular, but that's not what I'm playing you. You ever heard an American touchdown in Japanese? Dude, listen, Japanese is one of the most difficult languages on planet Earth to learn. I'm about to learn it just so I can listen to Japanese sports radio because that's fire. I don't know what they're saying. That could have just been a string of Japanese obscenities I will pay for with my career. But I'm pretty sure it was Diego Pavia's third quarter touchdown on that 4th and 1 that he just uncorked a 60-yarder to put Bama's put a dagger in the heart. I'm about to learn Japanese just so I can listen to Japanese sports radio because that was hype.
As an anime fan, I've heard that sort of, all the time because they put their all into everything they do.
That's incredible. Hey, Ashton Jonty plays for the Boise State Blue Turf Smurf Broncos. He got asked during an interview the other day, why didn't you go in the portal? You could be playing for Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and making mucho dinero for it. And Ashton Jonty proves what I said from the beginning, which is yes, the NIL cash is going to impact some kids. And the NIL cash is going to have other kids wanting to ball.
You never entered the transfer portal, but you had a lot of people calling and throwing money at you. Why'd you decide to stay?
Walking out on everything that we built. Money is cool, but a legacy, an impact that lasts forever.
I love this kid. Why didn't you go on, take the money and run? He said, because I want a legacy. Money is temporary. Glory, honor, legacy are forever. I love this kid. Remember when the NIL thing started, somebody said, oh, yeah, I know so many kids are going to do it for the money. I said, whoa. There will be some kids who do it for the money. And there will also be some kids who do it for whatever you think the reason they should do it is. Ashton Jonty is one of these kids. This kid said, because when I'm done here, I want them to remember me here. They built me. I want them to. There are still kids who have that old school mentality, just like there are kids who are going to go play wherever they're going to get paid the most amount of money. Massive props to this kid.
Pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts forever.
And all we're left with are the memories made. Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. I was actually quoting a movie. I don't Yeah.
I was quoting a country music song.
Yeah. Why would you do that when I was just quoting?
Pain hurts.
When I was
only
quoting
for a minute.
The Replacements, one
Life
of the
is
best
short, so
football
go on and
movies
live
of
it.
all time.
Because the chicks dig it.
Stop ruining
Banger.
the show with
Banger.
whatever that thing is you're doing.
Hey, speaking of Ashton Genty, how good is he? CBS Sports HQ put a little demo together for you.
Ashton Genty is on an absolutely historic pace this season. Through 5 games with Boise State, here's how he stacks up against one of the absolute GOATs of the sport, Barry Sanders, in his 1988 Heisman season. Barry Sanders, through his first 5 games in 1988 with Oklahoma State, had 130 carries, 1,002 yards, and 17 touchdowns. Genty, through 5 games in 2024, has just 95 carries, but a whopping 1,031 yards and 16 touchdowns. It's safe to say the Boise State star is one of the most dominant running backs we've seen in quite some time. He's going to look to continue that pace this Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern against Hawaii.
This kid's good. Not like good. Not like real good. This kid's, we're going to be talking about this season for a very long time good. This kid's, you could stack 12 William and Mary colleges on the schedule. And there are guys who couldn't put up the numbers that Ashton Genty's putting up right now for the Blue Turf Smurfs. This kid is, Boise's going to get its first Heisman this year good. If you're not watching the Blue Turf Smurfs, you need to start, and you need to start right now. From one side of the football, offense, to the other, special teams. Jason Kelsey has a hot take.
Kickers are making like 60-yarders like it's routine. We need to narrow these field goals. It's too easy to kick field goals now.
We got to
narrow. We got to go to rugby goalposts. Kickers should not be influencing football games as much as they are right now. We need to make kickers way less valuable. That is not what football is about. Me and Connor Barwin said this like 10 years ago. We need to get specialists out of the NFL.
Specialists?
Just kickers. And long snappers. Freaking punter ruined the game.
Everything's got to be a Hail Mary now?
I don't know.
It adds excitement to the game.
Just throw the ball through the uprights. Why do we have to have this guy come out here and kick it that doesn't belong on the football field?
That's way too easy.
Make it tighter. You just he's got to just have a big one post. You just got to hit the post.
Hit the post?
That's 3 points. I don't want these guys going out there in soccer shoes and you can't touch them and or make believe like this is a football play.
Dude, I mean, Harry's won me a lot of football games, man.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you're pro kickers. You got a great kicker.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott. Shout out to Jake Elliott. He's a great kicker too.
Yeah.
I just disagree with everything about it.
The unintentional rivalry that is about to begin between the New Heights podcast and the Pat McAfee show is going to be all time. It's good. It's going to be all time. I can't wait for the inevitable fight betwixt the two. It's going to be great. It's two of the most entertaining podcast shows out there. Jason Kelsey saying, get kickers the hell off the game. They're stupid soccer shoes out there. On the flip side, Pat McAfee has an entire segment every college game day where he brings in somebody who talks bleep about a kicker to make them look dumb on TV. And then bleep talks them to their face. I'm all in. It's spectacular. I do think the narrowing of the uprights is a good idea, though. I do. These guys are banging. It used to be if a guy lined up to kick a 60-yard field goal, every NFL game turned into that. They're like, hey, you're tuned in here for the Raiders and the Broncos, but we're going to send you out to New York where so-and-so's lining up for a 62-yarder. Now it's like you get a 60-yarder a game.
Dude, I want to see a 70-yarder. I'm not like that.
You will see one.
I want to see one.
You will see one.
That would be amazing to see. We're seeing records being set, and people are complaining it's too easy. It's not that easy.
I don't know.
If it was, there'd be one of those every single game, and there's not.
60-yarders?
There's not every single game.
No, but there's one almost every weekend now. The kid in Dallas has hit like 4 already.
Yeah, that's one guy, though.
He's not alone. There's been, I don't know how many there have been so far. I would set the over-under. I promise you there's been 6 in the NFL this year. It used to be when Jason Elam lined up one, we all tuned in to see if he could knock it through. Now, there's a kid in Dallas that if he lines up for a 60-yarder, you're like, all right, Dallas has got 3. How do we respond to that? It's stupid. It's stupid. I'm not saying get rid of kickers. I do think tightening up the goalposts will be kind of cool. I'm down for that. Jeff Ulbrich is going to be taking have you ever seen a picture of Jeff Ulbrich when he was a player, Zoe? Do you remember Jeff Ulbrich?
Yeah, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Okay, do me a favor. While I'm playing this audio, just do a quick Google of Jeff Ulbrich as a player And then listen to this audio.
Does that start with an O?
Ulbrich. Look at his picture while you listen.
You should have said the new head coach for the Jets.
For the Jets.
Yeah, I already.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeff Ulbrich, new head coach of the Jets. Look at his picture while you listen to him talk.
Regarding the staff, after a lot of time to think about it, and did not make this decision easily by any means, I'm going to make Todd Downing the play caller for the New York Jets going forward. And this is more a byproduct of a different take on things. I'm not saying it's a better or worse take on things by any means, but just a different take on things, a fresh approach. So ultimately, Todd will have the full say on the game plan and ultimately the plays that are called within the game.
All right, so I'm going to say something that you won't expect probably, or maybe you will. He looks and sounds like a special ops guy from a video game.
That's fair. Very.
You play Badlands. This guy is in Badlands going, sorry, brother, as he pulls him out of the car.
I'm going to go one step further. This dude is in dude's in like the military space. He's in like what's one? He's like in Call of Duty. All right. But he's the gruff old vet that's trying to whip the new Ghost team into shape, right? Like he's the one that he's like, you're going to be the team leader. I expect level-headedness from you. And you're like, why? The character's like, I don't understand why we have to listen to this guy. And then somebody else is in the back and is like, oh, you don't know Ulbrich. He is one bad son of an Ulbrich. Let me tell you. And then they go on to describe how he has like 280 confirmed kills.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how Keanu's in this movie, but it's probably better.
Keanu should be in every movie.
Yeah.
Why do we have to listen to Ulbrich, man? Let me tell you about Ulbrich, son. I once watched him sink a Bowie knife through another man's heart and kiss his wife while he did it. You know, like that kind of character. Like that's Jeff Ulbrich. If you haven't seen Ulbrich, just stop what you're doing right now. Unless you're driving, pull over safely first.
Hey, can we squeeze this phone call in?
Sure we can.
We got a break.
Go look at Jeff Ulbrich as an NFL player and then tell me that goes with that. Because it doesn't. Creed, kind enough to jump back on the phone lines this morning. What's up, big fella? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, two real quick ones. One, I think I will move to Japan after listening to that segment.
So electric,
Two,
right?
I will move faster after hearing you sing.
You can tell Creed's relatively new to the show. That's something I'm going to put you through about once a week, buddy.
Okay. And on kind of a serious note, if they're not going to make a major change on the field goal, but I've been suggesting for years, why not move the field goal back 5 yards? It wouldn't change the distance. It wouldn't change the accuracy. It wouldn't change anything, but it would make it people have to come in a little more. Now when you're at the 30, instead of being a 47, it's a 52. Just move the goalpost back 5 yards. It would actually get out of the end zone, so you don't have to worry about players running into it.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. I would say this, Creed. This is kind of one of those things that I would say, regardless of how you do it, right? It's kind of like, I don't remember, we were talking about something. How do you stop Ole Miss? How do you stop college football teams from faking injuries to manipulate the clock? And it's like, all right, do you take the kid and say you can't come back in for the rest of this drive? Do you say you got to be out for X amount of plays? Like, how do you do it? It's one of those things that I go, I'm not like, we could probably come up with 10 different solutions about how to do it. It just needs to be done. Because I do agree with Jason that while I am not for removing kickers, if you get to a point where a guy can kick a 60-yard field goal consistently, like it changes the entire dynamic of the game. And I don't know if it's necessarily for the better.
No, I like that. I just like the back five just because you don't change the accuracy. You're just making it where it's got to go a little further.
Sure.
That's all.
Fair enough. Creed, good call, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for jumping in, man. Great to have you on the show. Hope to keep hearing from you. Let's do this. Let's run to a break. When we come back, got a few more clips. We'll continue the Audio Blitz segment 2.0. Then Doug Irwin. I can do this. I've been in radio a long time.
He's going to hit you when he sees you.
Nah, Doug's good people. He won't. Hard. Doug Irwin, CBO of the Greenville Triumph, joins us on the show to talk about their new owner, Ronaldhino. Then at 9 o'clock, Kev, Jarrell, and John from the Moving the Chains pod tell us everything going on in high school sports. Then we end the show by talking to a legend, an icon, one of the four horsewomen, Bailey, joins the show ahead of Friday Night SmackDown tonight at the Bon Score Wellness Arena. All that coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
your life.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're coming right back. Do me a favor. Stay right there. friends, it's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is up, friends?
Brazilian monkey guzzles beer on video, prompting health warning.
Okay. The monkeys like beer now.
I'm guessing they'll probably drink anything.
They're our cousins. I get it. You know, we all share similar things.
Okay.
I would like a beer with that monkey.
Yeah, but he didn't wash his hands.
Yeah, like other unevolved primates.
Rhea Ripley is on the cusp of signing a new 5-year contract with WWE.
Yes.
Ooh, go to AEW. No. Go to TNA. Go to Japan. Yes. Fit really well in Japan. Wonder if there's going to be more of crossover once Raw goes to Netflix. Are they going to have more people on SmackDown? Because that's the only one that people can get for free. Well, and technically, you still have to have cable. So the only one you can get for free will be CW. So it'd be NXT.
Yeah.
Just found out that a series I watch is going to last for one more year.
Yep.
And it's so devastating where it is right now. I'm trying to figure out, is like the year and aftermath, or are they going to stretch the whole thing out? It's an anime. Are they going to stretch the whole thing out for another year? It's kind of happy-go-lucky kind of thing when they first start. Now everyone's dying. It's just, it's bad. Will Howard is eager for his big game test with Ohio State against number 3 Oregon, saying this is what college football is about.
Yeah, boy.
Hope that's on a channel we get so I can be watching that while I do the show tomorrow night. There's a picture of Call of Duty, and I just picture that dude in there. The Jets coach.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And he's definitely going bandana. I don't think he's going hat.
No, he's going with one of those hats, but like that, the one, like the beret, but the one that goes on the side.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I can see that too.
That's 100% what that guy goes with. Chumba. Golly, this breaks along.
Yes. Yes, it is. The answer to that, Wesley, is probably the Panthers, because any NFL team can beat another NFL team.
Correct. Totally agree. Continuing the audio blitz here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. I got to give a lot of credit to Michael Lombardi. If you missed it, Michael Lombardi was on the Pat McAfee show last week, and he was talking about Max Crosby and said, he's got a hamstring or a high ankle sprain. There's something wrong with Max Crosby. And He needs to sit out this weekend. I know he says he doesn't want to, but he needs to sit out this weekend for the Raiders to have a chance to win. Well, it turns out neither of those things was true. There's a rumor going around that he bought into. He was wrong. Crosby called him out on it. He's like, I don't know why you're talking about me when you don't actually know what's going on. Went on a big rant about it. Lombardi made his next appearance on the McAfee Show yesterday.
Guy. It's on the bad side with Max Crosby.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, multiple-time Super Bowl champion Michael Lombardi.
Yes. I knew we'd get to that. I knew we would get to that subject immediately. It took you no time at all.
Had
to. Let me address the elephant in the room.
Thank you.
He's right. I was wrong. I thought he had a hamstring injury. And he's right to call me out because I was wrong, just like I call people out that I think are wrong. And so I was wrong on that. I thought he had a hamstring. He had a high ankle. He didn't deserve to be on the sideline. But where I'm not wrong.
Let's stop. Let's hold the phone for a second. That was big. Hey, that was good. I like that.
I have to agree with Pat. I do like that. I like that he came out. I like that he owned it. I like that he didn't put the blame elsewhere. Oh, my sources told me. Oh, they're never wrong. No. I came out and he said, look, I was wrong. I was wrong. Max was right to call me out. That's on me. That's my bad. I appreciate it more than I can tell you. And I appreciate it because I genuinely believe hot take artists are, they make it tough for this industry. They make it tough for you as fans. Even though we love it, I still think they make it tough for fans. All right. Good on Lombardi for coming on and owning this. I that's it. I appreciate that. Nick Wright, a hot take artist, was on his show earlier.
Listen, don't go out a Kansas City Chiefs fan. That's disrespectful.
No, it's not. Not him. He's a hot take artist, and I don't think he would ever hide the fact that he's a hot take artist. But I don't know if this is a hot take or not, Lonzo. Listen to this take on Deshaun Watson from Nick Wright, and tell me if this is a hot take or not.
It is on the board that after this year, Cleveland, their escape hatch is finding a team with a lot of cap space and trading Deshaun along with their own first-round pick to a team just so that team can then cut it. So what I'm describing there is the Cleveland Browns call up the Carolina Panthers. Say your team's terrible and you have a ton of cap space, you're rebuilding again. If you will take Deshaun Watson off our books, so instead of having, if we were to cut him, $172 million dead money hit, which is unsustainable, it's only an $80 million dead money hit for us. You get Deshaun and the fourth pick of the draft for a conditional seventh rounder, for nothing. That would be unprecedented, but that's the only escape hatch.
Hot take.
I think it's far-fetched. No, I get what he's saying, but it's far-fetched that anyone would take that deal, even with the first rounder in there. I mean, is Deshaun, the hassle that comes with him, worth getting that second first rounder?
I think the point would be that the hassle that comes with him is you would eat up. Basically, what Nick is saying here is, we'll trade you Deshaun, and we will send you a first-round pick, which is going to be a top 5 pick this year. Cleveland's bad, right? We're going to send you Deshaun. We're going to send you our first-round pick next year, and effectively what you're going to do is cut him and split Deshaun's contract. You were going to eat half of our obligation to Deshaun. We'll eat half. You eat half. You're going to have to go like $70 million in cap space here, but you're going to get a top 5 draft pick in order to make this happen. I got to tell you, it does seem far-fetched. I don't hate it.
See, I do hate it because of all the moves that the Panthers have made since Tepper's been there. They would take that and then keep them, and that would be a problem.
It's fair.
And also, there's a good shot that the Panthers are going to be picking above them. So they would, so maybe in that case, you trade that fourth pick overall, if that's what it ends up being, for more picks. As long as you get rid of Deshaun after you get him, it's worth it. But I don't trust that they would get rid of him.
That's fair. I think though he's not good at football anymore. And to be paying that man $250 million guaranteed to not be good at football.
I also think Cleveland made a stupid move. They just have to deal with it. That's what I think. I think the rest of the league, because it made a problem for every other team, them doing what they did.
It did.
So just make them that's your problem.
Listen.
Eat it, Cleveland.
Here's the thing. That's not how it works in any business anywhere. All the time, people get, we have a term for it, the golden parachute. Here's your escape clause for that dumbass thing you did.
Well, if you consider the good old boys club, the owners for the NFL, that's exactly what they would do and say, eat it.
I agree. But here's the thing. It's within the rules for them to do it. They still got to eat over $70 million in dead cap space and lose you know what they're getting penalized? A first round draft pick in a year they would have a top 5 draft pick. That's pretty big. That's a Jaden Daniels pick.
I got something for you, Cleveland. My best counts
5-3.
Wow, I'm going to lose today. Whatever. I won last week. My best friend in the whole world, Cleveland Browns fan. Deal with it.
God, the life of a Browns fan. It's terrible to be a Browns fan. You know who it's not terrible to be a fan of? Ladies and gentlemen, you're my hour. Greenville Triumph, enormous news from the local soccer professional club and the Greenville Liberty, by the way. Of course, the voice of the Greenville Liberty. Very handsome young man is he. When we come back, Doug Irwin is the CBO of the Greenville Liberty and Greenville Triumph. He's going to join us on the show because if you haven't heard me talking about it, I don't know what to tell you. It's enormous news. Actually, as a soccer fan and a Triumph fan, it is one of the coolest things that I have ever been, let's say, adjacent to. We're going to talk with Doug Irwin about the incredible news that broke earlier this week for the Greenville Liberty and the Greenville Triumph when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, give me 45 seconds and we're right back with Doug after this. Don't go anywhere.
I wasn't keeping track.
I was.
Because I knew you would run just to make yourself be right. I mean,
I'm
but
quick.
You're not out of breath, so maybe you are.
Natural acceleration.
Is that what it is?
Yes, that's what I tell myself it is. Doug Irwin, you handsome son of a gun. How do you do, pal?
What's up, man? How's it going?
How you doing, brother?
Good.
Y'all ain't been busy this week, have you?
It's been quiet and calm as per usual.
I like that. Hey, we're playing golf next week. Let's talk the personal stuff out of the way. What day of the week can we play golf, Doug?
We can figure something out probably.
Let's go.
Probably next week. I think.
Let's go.
Is that how you do things? You do it in a place where other people are watching, so that
I
obligate them to do.
Listen,
I mean, that's
I have
kind of
Doug
messed up.
Irwin around a golf for like 2.5 months at this point.
Here's the thing.
We're even because I've kind of backed out on. I never followed up with you on the Roval for Sunday, and I just need a weekend at home.
Hey, you want to go to the Roval on Sunday? I'm not out.
No, I think the hurricane kind of ruined that. I need to be at home for a bit.
Hey, Rob, have you played golf since you lost all the weight?
I have not.
It's going to mess with your swing.
I haven't played golf in like 3-4 months now.
When you're used to that friction when you come and it's not there anymore.
I played down in St. Augustine when we went down for the mini vacation to scope the digs. Doug, I played links golf for the first time in my life. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. But I had dropped like 35 pounds at that point, and it completely changed my swing. I was already no, God, no. I wish. I wish. It ruined me, dude.
All right.
It ruined me.
It messed with your balance because you're used to have to compensate.
I'll tell you what it was. Honestly, it wasn't the balance. It was I was more capable of coming all the way through the swing. And so where it used to be swing real hard and the swing kind of stopped at the quick turn, I was actually pulling the club all the way through the swing. And so because my swing was longer with less fat in the way, it just started blocking everything off, like everything. I embarrassed myself.
You're Bryce Harper when he got too jacked one year and realized he lifted too many weights. It was 35 pounds of muscle you dropped because you had too much, right?
Obviously.
See, that's why you couldn't bowl a couple weeks ago, because you're not used to the
I'm gonna blame it on that because it's better than just going I suck at sports now.
It was pretty bad. So
But-
I mean, yeah.
Doug, I bowled a 69 and quit.
And then he quit.
And
Yes,
quit.
he
I walked.
quit.
I've never quit. I quit. I just walked.
Nice
out.
way to go out, right?
Yeah. I looked at the board. I said nice, and I walked away.
Yeah, you sat there. You look like Bryce Young on the bench. I mean, it was just kind of sitting there. You made Diesel bowl the rest of your game.
I just left.
Had to go to the bullpen.
Yeah, I was done. All right, here we go, buddy. Okay. Zoe's feeling the vibes. I like it. I like it a lot. Welcome back. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Ladies and gentlemen, I moved here. Coming up on March will be 5 years ago. And when I came up for my audition, I popped into an Airbnb. And the first thing that made an impression on me was a magnet on the fridge of my Airbnb of the Greenville Triumph. Googled them, learned about them, have been a fan, have been a supporter ever since. It has been a pleasure, a privilege, and honor, not just to work with this team, but to, I think they'll admit in public, become friends with the folks who run this, all the way from Joe Irwin down to everybody who works in the support staff on game day, an incredible group of people. Which is why the news that we are about to talk about with the CBO of the Greenville Triumph, Doug Irwin, is all that much more exciting because good things are deserved by good people. And I love the folks who work at this team. Dougie Fresh, you handsome devil, you. What's happening, buddy?
How's it going, Rob? Appreciate you having me on. Appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, man. They're kind words. They're accurate words. I am thrilled for you guys because I know that this can't lead to anything but incredible news. A legend and icon. And when we say legend and icon in Ronaldhino, we're not talking about like on a national. We are talking about an international megastar. One of, and I mean it, for those of you that aren't soccer guys like Doug and I, this is like getting a Tom Brady caliber player to get directly involved with the Greenville Triumph. Dude, how? Can we just start with the big one? How?
I think how is something we're still kind of asking, and we're blown away with it. But the shortest answer is just relationships. We have across the last year or so expanded our ownership group to bring on some additional minority investors from around town, and these, there are a couple guys that have come on board in a limited capacity, and they're people that are Greenville upstate residents that are passionate about business success in Greenville, and they're passionate about sports and the impact it can make, and saw this as a good opportunity to get involved in something growing on the grassroots level that helps Greenville and the upstate. And one of those guys is Wallace Cheeves, who came on board. And Wallace has been such a huge help for us in so many facets, working on just how we present our business to other potential investors, and you'll see where that's going in a second, but also helping on the stadium front as we continue talks to try and get a site secured for a permanent stadium. And Wallace is a guy who's done business all over the country and all over the world, and lives in Greenville, is a Greenville guy, but has some great connections and does a lot of business in Miami and Brazil. And in Miami, got connected to someone who became a business friend of him named Juan Ma, who has been to Greenville, been to the team store a couple times. We've shared meals with him, and he connected us to Roberto Assis, who is Ronaldinho's brother and business manager. And one thing leads to another, domino effect. And Roberto's become a big fan of what we're doing. And, Roberto got in touch with his brother and Ronaldinho, and talks and meetings and Zooms and information. And Wallace kind of running point on this for us. And next thing you know, we get a call from Wallace that says, "Hey, Ronaldinho might want to invest in your club." And I'm like, "Which Ronald? Like that?
that one?
That one?" To your point, global soccer icon, not just one of the best players of the last 25, 30 years ever, but a guy who really broke down just the barriers of being an athlete and became a cultural icon, and the way he played the game, and the creativity, the joy, and I think that the joy is an important thing to come back to, because the joy at which he played the game and the joy he gets from the game and giving back to the game is the joy that we have as an organization. Joy is in our mission. So I think that connection was evident to Ronaldinho, to his brother, to Juanma, to Wallace, and it all kind of came together in this beautiful process.
Dude, it's incredible to me. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound out of the gate, stick with me. When I talk about our local sports teams, and when I've talked with you and Chris and your dad and all the folks at the store, you guys have never dictated to me like, "Hey, we'd like you to talk about this," right? Now, the reason I bring it up is because I also, in every time we talk, point out the fact that I think the Greenville Triumph are, and I mean this sincerely, the best team I have ever worked with, for, or around in my 17 plus years in this industry, at connecting with the community, at being involved in the community, at allowing the community to be involved with them directly, indirectly, whatever. And in the statement Ronaldinho made, he talked about wanting to continue to grow the game and do so not just at the international level or the professional level or the domestic level, but at a grassroots level, which I think you guys have done in this community and honestly across the Carolinas as well as anybody I've ever seen do it. And to have somebody on the scale of Ronaldinho recognize that for a local club and decide, not only do I recognize, respect, appreciate that, but I want to be a part of that, mission accomplished. Like, I know the mission's not accomplished because you want to keep it going. That's why he's here. But to do so in a way that a guy of that stature sees it, recognizes it, and aside from you guys says, "I want to be a part of that," that's incredible, dude.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that's his mission. And you look at all the work he's done. He serves as an ambassador for the game truly across the world now, and giving back to the game, and it's such a noble pursuit. For former players had a lot of success to just really dedicate the rest of their life post playing career to giving back to the game that gave them so much. And frankly, Rob, it reminds me a little bit about John Hart's attitude when we hired him, as our head coach year one. John's the same way. He says it out in public and says it behind closed doors, and he means it. He wants to give back to the game that gave him everything. And giving back to the game isn't always, hey, this athlete's gonna write a check somewhere or whatever. It's you said it's connecting with the community, and something that we try and do. The game's given us a lot too, in our ownership group, in our office. It brings us a lot of joy. So any way you can give back, and sometimes giving back is, kicking a ball around with couple people, kids at a clinic. Sometimes it's joining an ownership group. But anyway, we can do it. I really appreciate people, like Ronaldinho, who want to leave it a better place than they found it, and leave it a better place it was when they left it as an athlete. That's so cool. And having people like that to pay it forward is what makes the game grow. And you're seeing with the global explosion of soccer growth, what people like Ronaldinho are capable of.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think the interesting thing for me is it is global expansion, and it's happening right here on our doorstep now because of stuff like this. And the dividends were immediately recognizable because Ronaldinho's ringing the closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange, the most eyes on financial market in America. And there's this beautiful picture of him and his brother and the business partners up there on that stage looking down at the NYSE. And right there plastered on that giant LED sign behind them are the logos of the Greenville Liberty and the Greenville Triumph. You guys, on the day it was announced, have put Greenville into cameras that broadcast that room to the entire freaking globe at this point. The dividend's immediately available, but let me ask you from the business perspective, having one of the most recognizable athletes in the history of the game globally, what opportunities does that present for the Greenville Liberty and the Greenville Triumph?
Well, look, first off, I think you're selling yourself short because I see the Triumph and Liberty logos behind you. So they've already been on a world stage, in the background. But, Rob,
I also would like to put myself on the same stage as Ronaldinho, Doug.
And
but
the New York Stock Exchange, yes.
There it is.
Of course.
There it is.
I really think I can't answer that question yet, and that's what's so exciting. Certainly it's a secret we've had to keep quiet for a handful of months now as it was coming together. Chris Lewis, our team president, my dad, our majority owner, and I were getting texts from people in our organization, from Rick Wright, our current head coach, John, our previous head coach, who were saying, why didn't you tell me about this? We didn't tell anybody. So we,
including me, by the way, Doug.
I've learned to keep a good secret. Sometimes you got to do it until the ink's dry. I think the possibilities are endless, and I want to be reasonable when I say endless. But the amount of eyeballs we're going to get. I mean, we're seeing the news come in and us get picked up by ESPN and Apple and Daily Mail and all these places, across the world. So I don't know what's possible. What I would hope is possible is just eyeballs and being able to see more people interact with our brand, sell more merchandise, have more sponsorships come in, bigger attendance at games allow us to do more and really just increase our platform to be able to live out our mission as a club. And it's exciting. We don't know what direction it's going to take. The question I'm getting the most right now is, well, you guys going to sell Ronaldinho Triumph jerseys, and is he going to come to games? I don't know. I hope so. He's expressed excitement and interest there. We want to figure all that out, but I think again, it's just about growing our team's brand, growing the league, and how do we make that soccer connection with people in the community that haven't heard of us, because we're not too proud to say there are plenty of soccer fans in Greenville, South Carolina, and across the upstate who don't know much about the Triumph, maybe haven't heard of the Triumph, but they know who Ronaldinho is. So I think to be able to make that connection and get more people interested in learning, who we are as a team, what we are as a league, that's huge for us, and hopefully make some new fans.
I think this is kind of one of those rising tide lifts all boat scenarios for the USL, for USL League One, for USL soccer as a whole, for US soccer as a whole. This is something that I think, and I'll ask it in a way that you can kind of expand where you want to go with it here, but I got to assume this is something like the folks in the League One offices have got to be going, oh my God, are you kidding me? The folks at USL have got to be going, are you kidding me? The folks all the way up, I would assume, through the MLS. There are probably MLS teams going, how in the hell did we not make this happen? And the Greenville Triumph did. This is a banner moment for you guys that I don't really know. I tried to describe it yesterday on the show after you guys officially broke the move. I'm like, this is like a rec league basketball team getting freaking Michael Jordan to become a partial owner. I don't know what else to say. What a hell of an opportunity for the guys.
Yeah, I think I'm still waiting on the league to send me the thank you bottle of champagne or something. No. I think that the USL, which has 40 some men's pro teams and now a handful of women's pro teams with a bunch of amateur teams really across the country, they've seen celebrity investment, at the local levels, and they've done a really good job of getting people involved. That Tim Tebow with a recent one, he got involved in the new franchise in Jacksonville. David Villa, another former great, getting involved up in Queens. But I think it shows that there's value in the investment. There's joy in the investment. It's something you get to interact and have fun with. It's not just investing in a hedge fund or something like that. But people wouldn't be getting involved if there wasn't real value potential in it. And the growth of the game, the growth of these leagues is a big part of that. But I think anytime any of these teams get an investment from a local celebrity, a national, international celebrity, it definitely, to your point about rising tide lifts all boats, it does. And it lifts the notoriety. It encourages other people who might be on the fence, both celebrities that might be on the fence and also just people that are, investors in the private sector that might be on the fence about getting involved with a team. They see that and they think, wow, if that person's investing, maybe there is something to it. So what I hope happens is that we get a lot of calls from, other people around the country, celebrities, private capital that say, hey, tell me more about how you got this across the finish line, because we want to do something similar in Spokane and Richmond and Statesboro, wherever. Because the league is growing and revenue is good, but you can't do that without more investment. And I think we've seen this in soccer, but also in places like the WNBA and the NBA too. Is you start to get this avalanche of investment into the sport, and that's what really leads to cataclysmic change. So we're excited about this, and we hope it leads to the next Ronaldinho type investment for one of the other teams in our league.
Me too, except Omaha, not them. Anybody else would be fine. Doug Irwin, CBO, and I do want to say, when Ronaldinho comes to town for the first time to take in his first Greenville Triumph a game in person, and it's time to introduce him, just remember who gives you the love locally, Doug. That's all I'm saying, but no reasons.
Yep, noted.
Doug Irwin, CBO of the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. My dude, congratulations. Enormous from the Triumph, both as a Triumph fan, as a local sports dude, and just a soccer dork. Incredible news. Congratulations, man. That's huge.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You got it. Doug Irwin joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. When we come back, Jarrell Hendricks and Kevin Thomas join us to talk high school football around the Upstate. That's next after Lonzo blows your mind with this Sports Flash.
You're welcome. The New York Yankees are back in the American League Championship Series after finishing off the Kansas City Royals in 4 games with a 3-1 victory last night. Kansas City finishes the season 86-76, while the Yankees await the winner of Game 5 between Cleveland and Detroit. San Francisco 49ers knocked off divisional rival Seattle last night, 36-24. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy went 18-28 for 255 yards. Former Gamecock Deebo Samuel had 102 receiving yards and a touchdown in the win. San Francisco improves to 3-3, the same record as the Seahawks. Tune in tomorrow at 12:30 as the Furman Paladins take on Chattanooga. It's Chattanooga Mocs and Furman right here. Also, tune in tonight, 7 p.m., as the Burns Rebels head to Gaffney to take on the Indians. Burns versus Gaffney right here on your home for Burns Rebels football and Furman football, the Fan Upstate.
That was very dramatic how you threw that paper.
I do that all the time. You just never end.
Oh, okay. Doug, my man, good stuff, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Anytime, dude. Anytime. I'll get you back on, or let's get Rick Wright on one more time before that final home match.
Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Heck yeah, man.
We'll see if we can get something clinched. Still trying to clinch home game, but we can't do it this weekend. It might come down the last day, so we'll see.
For sure.
I'm in awe of the beauty, even though I dislike Ohio State. I'm in awe of the beauty of Lonzo's Eddie George jersey, because that's wonderful.
Thormack's a great one.
Hey, it was a birthday gift too a couple weeks ago.
Oh, it's fresh too.
Yeah, so it's
fresh
through. Yeah.
I didn't realize he coaches Tennessee Southern. He's like their head coach.
Yeah, he played for the Titans for a long time, so it's
I
cool that he stayed in the area.
Tennessee State.
Tennessee State, sorry.
He's been there since 2021.
Where have we been? That Eddie George is coaching college football. Like,
I remember when he hit the wall and could no longer play running back. I mean, that was just like boom. Suddenly he couldn't play.
Hit that 30 mark, man. Hit that 30
Yeah,
mark.
I feel like he had a knee or something. But when we took it for granted, now we take it for granted that you can just blow your knee out and come back in a year.
For sure. Different era. Yeah. Brother, thank you, my man. Congrats again. That's huge news. Super, super stoked for you guys. Whatever I can do to help, man, let me know. You know I'm here.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll be in
All
touch
right, big
soon.
dog. See ya.
You guys, enjoy the rest of the
show.
Yeah. Now we switch the background to that one, and we bring on another set of international icons, Kevin and Jarrell. What's up, boys?
How are you?
Hey, man. What's going on, fellas?
I'm really sorry that you have to follow Ronaldhino talk, but I believe you're up to the task.
I'm ready. You know, Rob, I was scrolling the comments. How did Chris Cagle get brought up earlier? I'm a huge Chris Cagle fan. I'll just start with that. So I just didn't know.
So I don't remember where the conversation came up, but Lonzo.
I'm sure it was my fault.
No. Well, I mean, it was and it wasn't.
I'm an instigator.
I don't remember what we were talking about, but Lonzo started quoting the, Glory Fades line from The Replacements.
Yep.
And then because I don't care about my own radio show, I started singing Chris Cagle's Chicks Dig It. Because again, apparently I don't want listeners. And
well, definitely you drove some away.
Yeah,
for
sure. I started doing my own karaoke version of Chicks Dig It. And it first off, it wasn't appreciated, which is kind of offensive because I got to tell you, I nailed it.
So I don't know if you know this, not a country fan. So I'm sure you did it justice. It sounded just as bad as it probably does on the radio.
No. It sounded just as good as when Chris Cagle does it in concert. That's how good it was. Mm-hmm. I'm shocked Kevin didn't get a phone call with people going, how do I give Rob Brown more money?
Yeah. When did you guys get a country station? That's what I heard.
Yeah. All right, boys, you ready to talk some footy? Let's jump in with the news about the season and all that, and then we'll go to the games after that.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
The fourth, the final, the best hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great with Lonzo. You know who we are. Our picture's on the window of the building. All right?
Yeah.
They don't do that for just anybody. They do that for everybody on the air in the building. But that's still cool.
Not only that, ours was the first to go up.
Ours was the first to go up.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. And you always know the old expression, save the best for first, I believe is how that goes. Hey, we go from news about the Greenville Triumph, partial owner Ronaldhino, a global icon, maybe one of the best 3 or 4 footy players in the history of the planet, now to the Ronaldhinos of covering local high school sports, local high school football. I screwed myself up there.
Yeah. See, I mean, you almost recovered, and then I
just blew it.
You burned.
I just blew it because I'm not the Ronaldhino of sports talk radio. There was a very famous Brazilian soccer player named Roberto. I could be the Roberto of sports talk radio.
Stop with the R rolling. I hate you.
Why do you hate when we talk about the Rob Brown Show?
Stop it.
Kevin Thomas, Jarrell Hendricks, 2 of the 3 hosts, 66 and a third % of the Moving the Chains podcast joining us here on the show. Fellas, what's going on? How we doing?
Rob, great to be here, man. Excited for a normal football week after a bit of a mess these last 2.
I mean, I'm air quoting the hell up out of that.
Yeah, I just realized something. That's Kevin.
That is Kevin.
Has he ever been on the show?
Kevin's been on the show once, I think.
Okay, all right.
It's now, in fairness.
I mean, this season. Has he been on this season?
Yeah, I think I think you did week 0.
I think I had one of the first ones this week.
And in fairness, we haven't had the segment or high school football in 2 weeks. So, it's been weird, Jarrell. It's been weird.
And the weather hasn't been conducive to golfing, apparently.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, we had some bad weather, so Kevin couldn't be on the links, be in the sand, things like that. So
checks out. Not a joke. The last time Jarrell and John were on, Kevin's freaking texting us from a sand trap like he owns the place.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, get him where you fit in. That's what they say, Rob.
I respect that. I really do. If they ever figure out, Kev, how to hook a Comrex up to a golf cart, I might be putting while we're talking about Clemson Wake Forest.
Hey, that's a hell of an idea for a remote right there.
I'm not.
By the
against
way,
it.
you can absolutely do that.
I'm not
'Cause
against
that's
it.
what battery packs are
Okay,
for.
rephrase that. If somebody will pay us to hook a Comrex up to a golf cart, then it's all in. Fellas, let's jump right in. And we do have a couple of games going on as we kind of get back to normal-ish after Hurricane Helene rolls through. But and I don't know how you guys want to break this down, but give the people the big decision that was made by the High School Athletic Association earlier this week. Kind of walk me through where we are and how we got here.
Yeah, so as you guys know, up here in the upstate and even in kind of the Midlands and that Aiken area as well, they were forced to miss 2 weeks of football games, due to the weather and the disaster of Hurricane Helene there. So what the high school league voted on and decided to do is basically push back the season 1 week, extend it for an extra week on the back end, start the playoffs a week later, move the state championships a week later as well. So basically they're going to tack a week on that week. I think that Friday is November 8th. So move it back 1 week, and then depending on the region, if you've got 2 games to make up, some of them are getting really creative where, hey, you're going to play like a Thursday and then a Monday, then a Friday, or a Thursday and a Tuesday and a Saturday, just somehow to get all those games in there. Other regions are deciding to just kind of scrap one of the weeks and just go with 9, regular season games. So that's kind of up to each individual region as far as that part goes. But the gist of it is they're moving the weeks back, giving you an extra week to play football, then an extra week before the playoffs start there. I guess opposed to what the original schedule stated.
Jarrell, is there anything you want to add to that? Any opinions or information? And B, are there any schools that are releasing schedules, have released schedules in our area that you think this has any sort of impact on, or is this pretty much just kind of spread across everybody's region right now?
Yeah, it's spread across, most, like Kevin said, most of the upstate schools have really had to deal with this. That CSR region and some of the Midlands were impacted. It's been business as usual for the schools in the lower part of the state. So they're the ones that kind of are getting messed up as well because, they're trying to figure out, we're going to have a bye week. Are we going to have 2 bye weeks? So they finally made that decision. So I think it was the best possible outcome for this. Like Kevin said, they're kind of doing it by region, whether they're deciding to do schedules, cut games, add games, play during the middle of the week. So it was a tough decision. I'm glad that they finally got the call done, and it seems like it's going to work out for everybody involved.
Okay. It's interesting because obviously it's and we've talked about this in days gone by, but when you have something that is as impactful as this hurricane was, when you've got TV footage still 2.5 weeks later coming out of places that are still flooded, underwater, roads are washed out, whatever, it's like high school football. But at the same time, like there's not much that brings a community, whether it's a big city or a small town together, like Friday night under the lights with the band playing and the hot dogs grilling and the boys out there getting it on. Like I don't think people understand until something like this happens, how impactful just a Friday night football game can be to be able to put bad stuff in the rearview mirror. And at least for a couple of hours on a Friday night get together, I think it's fantastic. They made this decision to not just cancel football, but to say, hey, we still want to play as much of it as we can just because of the importance of high school football on individual communities.
Yeah, it brings everybody together, like you said, Rob. This is huge for the schools and the kids and the fans. And a lot of the coaches were saying, like, hey, can we do something? Because we don't want our kids to be, only get to play 8 games their last season. Like, that's just not, fair to them. And want them to be able to get out there and play as many as they can. So I'm glad they made this move to move it back and get in as much football as they could.
All right, let's jump into some of the games coming up in week 7. Let's start with a game that you will hear right here on the Fan Upstate, the Gaffney Indians at the Burns Rebels. Obviously, Burns playing the role of Road Warriors this year as Nixon Field gets a facelift, and they get set to make their debut back on the campus at Burns High School next year. Gaffney at Burns. I got to tell you, last year, when I was calling this game, I guess 2 years ago when I called this game for the first time I had ever really been introduced to what's kind of an underappreciated little rivalry game here. Jarrell Hendricks, talk to me about this year's edition of Gaffney and Burns.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there that it's historical rivalry. I mean, this has always been a big time game, especially in that region 2 and 5A. So these are some longtime rivals there. Burns, they kind of, I'll give you a WWE reference since you like wrestling so much. I mean, they were like the Undertaker, man. They came back from the dead. They lost their first 3 games, but they got on a little win streak there. They were able to get in a Wednesday game before the storm rolled in. So they knocked off Wade Hampton, knocked off Dorman. They've really leaned on their defense this year. I mean, they have been fantastic on defense. They've been in every game they've played in. So it was just a situation. They're playing on the road all this year. But this is going to be a difficult task. Playing Gaffney, there's a storyline there as well. Quarterback Javon Gilmore, the Arkansas commit. The last time we saw him play was at Bowling Springs. He was actually suspended. There's a situation where it was going to be 2 games. It has been reduced to time served and a half game, so he will miss the first half of this game, so that's a big loss. But they got talent aplenty. You got Jamarcus Smith, who's probably going to take the QB snaps. He finished out that Bowling Springs game. He's a Shrine Bowler. Shed Surratt, Shane Davidson out wide. So it's going to be a tough task for that Burns defense, but it should be a fun game over at the reservation.
It's interesting with Burns, not just starting off with the offer, but then coming back 3-0, and they didn't have to learn. This is a team, Jarrell, that lost a huge chunk of their offense. Oh, yeah. Some of them graduation, a lot of them transferred to other schools, sure, which they're allowed to do now. It kind of felt like it was going to be a big reset for Reggie Shaw and the Rebels this year, and they kind of had to find the identity for a team that relied on being able to go put up 35, 37, 42 a game last year. Not only did they find the identity, but it's a mirror image of what they were last year.
Yeah, it's a huge testament to Coach Shaw and his staff there to kind of rally these guys. Again, they already have that disadvantage of not being able to play a single home game this year. Starting off rough, losing the transfers, and you're talking about impactful transfers. We're not talking about some guys, that were, getting some minutes. We're talking about some starters that were lost. So it's been a great coaching job so far. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a tough, tall task. Gaffney's one of the better teams in the state. But it should be a fun ball game. It's going to be, you have 2 weeks. These communities have not seen football, so it's going to be a packed house over there in Cherokee County.
Oh, I have no doubt. Kev, let's talk about a couple of other ones going on. Hillcrest is at JL Mann as we get week 7 underway. Talk to me about that one.
I mean, this may be the best game in the state. 2 top 5 teams in 2 different classifications. It's kind of weird, with the new 5A setup. These guys play in the same region, but when the playoffs come, they're going to split out. One's going to be in the big 5A, one's going to be in the small 5A. So a certainly interesting football game there. Hillcrest, these guys have not played in 21 days, same as JL Mann there. Got a lot of pieces on offense. Caleb Sutton, the quarterback, is dynamic. 2 running backs, Starks and Johnson. Like Weston Willis, is averaging 128 yards per game at receiver. Already got 7 touchdowns there for them. JL Mann, they're loaded as well. LaDainian Martin, the Georgia State commit. He's a big-time running back. New quarterback McLeod Darnell has really improved as the season goes along. Looks like he has got the talent to make some big noise back there for Coach Watson's team. And the defenses as well. You got Romani Bruton. You got Raymond Whitner at JL Mann, 2 really good DBs. On the Hillcrest side, you got Christian Henderson, a really good DB as well. So I think a lot of the offensive players get the shine and on these 2 teams. I think the defense may be what makes the difference tonight in this football game.
This is Hillcrest was when I moved up here, the first high school I actually went to see a game at. I went with you, Kev, right after I got here to go watch a game there. They have a pretty spectacular environment. Saw it in the regular season. Saw it a couple of years ago when Burns was at Hillcrest for a playoff game. Man, I got to tell you, Hillcrest, underappreciated in terms of the environment they'll throw up on a Friday night.
For sure. That's a great community. They're more in the Simpsonville side, so they don't kind of get broken out as much as some of those Greenville County schools do, So, really, Hillcrest is the school in that town. So they have a great following, a great fan base there. JL Mann is starting to do the same thing. I think this is their homecoming this Friday night. This Saturday night, actually. So that'll be exciting as well. These guys played 2 really good ball games last year, 2 one-score games, one in the regular season, one in the playoffs. So looking forward to something similar tonight.
All right, Jarrell, we got time for a couple of more here. Let's go to the Side Bowl, Riverside, East Side. Give me your side.
Man, you got 2 teams probably separated by 5 miles, 10 minutes apart. Fun little rivalry here. I mean, you got talent all over the field on both sides, like what Dr. Wilcox doing at East Side. Jaquavius Stott, another Shrine Bowler there on the defense, going to get after it, a South Carolina commit. Also got Lucas Tankersley, so they're going to lean on the defense, going to try to run the ball. The other side, at Riverside, they're going to try to air it out. And they got a sophomore quarterback you're going to be talking about for a long time, and Gideon Merib there. He's fantastic. and he's got some playmakers out wide, and Speedy Taylor and Mikkel Skinner, another Shrine Bowler there, probably going to be a South Carolina commit as well. So a lot of talent, two contrasting styles. It's a cool little rivalry there in Greenville County.
I like it. Kev, another one of the classic rivalries here in the upstate. We don't even really have to set this one up. Spartanburg at Dorman.
Yeah, the city rivalry. Two teams that, always play fantastic football games. Spartanburg, I feel like it's kind of been laying in the weeds this year. I do worry about their offense a little bit. The defense has been playing great, but can they score enough points? Dorman started off pretty hot. They had a tough loss to Burns right before the break a couple weeks back. They're having problems on offense as well. Really could be a low-scoring slugfest, I think, over in Spartanburg tonight.
I dig it. We got Kevin Thomas. We got Jarrell Hendricks, the boys from the Moving the Chains podcast. They join us every Friday at 9 o'clock to set you up for the high school football weekend. And they're going to be doing it for an extra week this season because we're playing all the football, at least all the football we can get in after the hurricane. Fellas, awesome to have you guys as always, man. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Appreciate you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Lonzo.
Anytime. Moving the Chains. You can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Moving Chains. No G in that. The same handle on Twitter, the same handle on Instagram at Moving Chains. And again, their podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and they'll go live on X tonight after those games wrap up to take results, score standings from around the state as the high school football games wrap up. When we come back here in just a minute, we set you up with a trip through the NFL schedule. And then we got some What the X is going on. No, we don't, because we are being joined today to wrap up the show by a global icon, WWE's Bayley, joining us to wrap up the show ahead of tonight's Friday Night SmackDown at the Well. It's all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
You can tell them goodbye if you.
I was going to. I was letting to make sure we're clear. Fellas, wonderful job. It's like you've done this before. I'm proud of you.
Appreciate your man.
Hey, also want to say congrats, man, on the wedding.
Thank you, buddy.
You're a changed man.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
Literally nothing has changed and everything's changed all at the same time.
Isn't it crazy?
Wow, that sounds like a Christmas song. Way to go.
Everything's changed and yet nothing has. I will tell you, Jarrell, since we've been married, she has been beating me upside the head about wanting a little trip down to New Orleans, Louisiana at some point. I'm not saying that we need to pull the whole group together, but probably should.
Hey, I have not been there since Clemson got smoked in the Natty 2020. So, I mean, I am dying to get back down there. So, me and Megan have been doing the same thing. So, you hit me up. Let me know.
Boys, she said to me about 2 weeks ago. She said to me after New Orleans went down to Dallas and just whooped up on the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
She goes, well, the Saints are good. And I was like, no, we stink. We're playing good right now, but relax, we'll blow it, right? And she goes, well, if they win and they go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans this year, can we go? And I was like, let's not set that as the condition because we'll never go to New Orleans. But yes, we can go at some point. Doesn't have to be for that, though.
Hey, I'm down for a trip anytime to go to New Orleans.
Yeah.
I've been dying. Need a beignet in my life. Need some boudin, something. So it's been too long.
I mean, I feel like we pull it together. Boys, thank y'all.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Have a good one.
You know it.
Good seeing you, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. See you, buddy. All right, everybody else, give me 30 seconds. We will be right back. that button.
So if life was wrestling, I would have stunned you, and then Lee would have clotheslined you.
Oh, for sure. I walked into the bathroom. I opened the door. There's Lonzo just standing in the door. It scared the crap out of me. I went, excuse me. Jumped left. And as I jumped left, there's Lee coming out of the stall right in my face. He scared the crap out of me. Got the old double jump scare. Not cool, man.
I heard the door opening, so I just made my eyes as wide as possible.
No, it worked.
I mean,
terrifying.
There's only one person that I would have met eye to eye pretty close, and that's you. Everybody else, I would have been above their
By the way,
head.
you ready for the first fight I know I'm going to have? I'll wash my hands because I'm a good person. I ordered my ring like 20 pounds ahead of where I should have.
Yeah.
And when the paper towel dispenser's broken, I shook my hand and it flew off. I
Told
was
you
like,
that's the one time I lost a ring was doing that. I found it though.
All right, I want to do two things very quickly as we've got Bailey coming on the show in the next segment. Really excited to talk to Bailey, an absolute legend, icon of stage and screen and wrestling ring.
Really? I mean, why'd you?
Really excited to talk to Bailey coming up, but I want to do something else. I want to take you back real quick to something that happened last night. You guys know I'm very pro technology and officiating games. I think we should utilize it in every possible aspect, and I think we should utilize it as much as we possibly can. I am pro robo ump, pro robo ref. All right. Well, let me tell you, one of the issues that I've had is I've seen so many people that are like, oh yeah, you can't know because it's fixable. You just got to do it the right way. Let me take you back to last night, fourth quarter, 14:46 left to play in the Thursday night game between the 49ers and the Seahawks. It's 23-17 San Francisco. They punt to Seattle. Kick returner muffs the ball. At least so we thought. Replay shows very clearly that the Seattle kick returner touched the football. Live ball should have been San Francisco. They went to instant replay and they said there was not conclusive evidence, even though we all very clearly saw it. So why didn't they overturn it? Well, let me play you what was said by rules expert Terry McCauley.
The ruling on the field stands as called. It'll be Seattle ball, first down and 10. Timer, please reset the game clock. 14 minutes and 51 seconds. Thank you.
Terry McCauley, this is as close as it gets. What did you see?
Yeah, Al, we've seen two different angles where it's pretty clear it hits the finger of the receiving team player, and then there's a clear recovery by San Francisco. I believe this should have been reversed to San Francisco's football.
But it was not.
No, it was not, Al. Thank you. It was not. And all of us were going, huh? Why not? It very clearly touched his finger. Well, in order to see the A down the line, Terry McCauley went and found out why it wasn't overturned.
Terry, go back to that, the controversial play on the punt.
Yeah, Al, I spoke with Walt Anderson in the command center in New York, and what they're telling me, they did not get our enhanced video that we showed the ball touching the finger. What they had was the raw feed from our cameras, and it was not clear and obvious to them that it touched the finger.
Obviously a gigantic play.
First off, my favorite part of that clip is Al going, It
was already creepy. You just made it worse. Please tell me you're not keeping that.
Oh, hell yeah. I already did. I don't know how, when, or why is going to fit in the show, but is going to get played a lot.
I'm sure it'll be something you say, not anything because I would never incite such a thing.
Never. Hey, Lonzo, you want to go get lunch after the show?
Well, I would have to say, as long as we're going to get Chinese.
I love it. Yes. Is a clip we have now. Okay, so Terry McCauley says that the NFL offices in New York did not have our enhanced camera view. Stop it. Just camera view. It's not enhanced. It was just the camera. If Amazon can set up a camera that very clearly shows that it was a muffed punt.
Well, Amazon's going to get it cheaper, man, because that's what they do. So, I mean, they were able to find
let me fix it for you. Let me fix it for you. Hey, NFL, just turn on the TV. We all can see it. In the same time that you were actively looking, you could have just gone, hey, Bill, hand me the remote, and clicked the game on, And say, the point here is, if Amazon's got that camera, the NFL's got that. You make it really easy for you. Hey, Amazon, if you would like to continue this wonderful sponsorship that you have built where you own the sole exclusive broadcast rights of Thursday Night Football, here's the deal. We get to plug our computers into your cameras, every one of them in the stadium. Okay? Hard cams, soft cams, traveling cams, mobile cams, robo cams, whatever cam, sky cam, whatever cam you're using. We get live access of that camera for the duration of the game and just use them. I'm not even asking the NFL to set up any additional cameras. I'm just saying very simply, do me a favor. Just have all the feeds, because it should have taken zero, nothing, nada, to just look and go, yeah, that's San Francisco's football. That is a game-changing call that was clearly and evidently wrong. It was just wrong. Well, we got the human element. You got a wrong call. You got a wrong call. And if Seattle takes that football and they march on down the field and they score a touchdown, you know what they got? The lead. Instead of what it should have been, which was San Francisco ball going that way, it was Seattle ball going that way. That is a game-changing, incorrect call. And literally me sitting on the couch in Greenville, South Carolina, I knew by watching a camera that the NFL could have literally pushed a button on a remote control and seen. I knew that, but the NFL didn't have our enhanced camera. It's not enhanced. It's just a camera. It's just one more cable from the Amazon truck to the NFL truck. It's one HDMI would have solved this problem.
Maybe they're still watching standard def.
It's dumb. It's dumb. Now, I want to compare and contrast that to something. A red card was issued in a Premier League game this weekend. All right? And not only did they go to the VAR.
What's a red card for those?
Stop it.
Who don't know. There's someone out there who doesn't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what a red card is? I don't know what to tell you. All right? I'm sorry.
It's bad.
It's the worst thing. All right? So, not only did they go to VAR and get the call correct, it took about a minute, maybe, to get the right call, which I would argue a red card to take a guy off the pitch and make it an 11v10 soccer matchup pretty much as consequential as getting possession wrong in a football game.
Soccer hot take from Rob.
It's not. What is elitist about it?
Elitist. Our game is better than your game.
No.
The world's game can do it. Why can't you Americans?
That, yes. Because not only did they get it right.
That would have been a good spot for that.
Well, I'm already holding play on the button over here, and once I let it go, it starts.
Okay.
Not only did they get it right, you know what else they did? They actually said, "Oh, and here's how we got it right."
That's awful, mate. That's a red card for me. Red card. Right, you got runners. 100%. On-field decisions, red card.
Checking the on-field decision of red card delay. So it's a high foot. So it's not studs.
Where's
Show me
studs?
another angle, please. So it's the.
Did he say nut studs?
Not studs.
Okay.
Cleats, spikes.
Okay. All right.
Does he rake down?
Got another angle coming back in.
It's a deliberate act.
Move away. You've come a long way. It looks rubbish.
He's made no attempt to play the ball. The angle you start seeing on broadcast doesn't necessarily show it's with studs.
There is a slip, but then there's an action which makes contact with the shin.
Yeah.
What
Shin.
Okay. All right.
Shin.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
These are officials, Lonzo.
Yeah. Okay.
Professionals.
All right.
Cav, I'm confirming the on-field decision of red card, serious foul play. Check complete.
Thank you.
So, in case you don't speak English.
That took 35 minutes, and they were speaking some foreign language. We're supposed to understand what they're saying.
That took 57 seconds, which is less time than the NFL took to review the play last night and get it wrong. They got it right, and not only did they get it right, but they got it right, and then they offered this explanation so you can hear them talk about it. You know what the best thing to do in baseball or football or hockey or basketball would be if you want replay to work? I'm going to make it real easy for you. When the refs go to check the cam, turn their mics on. Let us hear it. Because, see, here's what soccer did. They took it and they said, and here's our guys talking through it. So you got to listen not only why it was a red card, but why they have upheld the red card. They are explaining to you it's because he came in, and even though he was not studs up, which means that he turned his foot up to make sure that the cleats scrape the leg.
Finally, a translation. Thank you.
Okay, let me translate for you before you try to poop all over the game I love. All right? Because that's what you're doing here, and I get it. All right? What they said in the most British way possible, governor, was this. He came in, he did not have the studs up, which means the bottom of his cleat facing up towards the player's skin to intentionally stick them. But because he came in, even though he was spikes down, he came in spikes down with the leg up, and he made a motion to bring the leg, his foot, down on the leg of the player who had already beat him off the dribble, and both take him down and make sure he goes down, right? So what soccer did in this spot was they went to a replay, and in case you missed it in there, they said the broadcast angle shows this, which means that they had every available camera angle in a box. And the ref looked and he said, this angle, broadcast angle, this angle, this angle. All right. He didn't go studs up, but he did make a raking motion down, and he did cause excessive contact after the ball was already gone. We're confirming the red card. So you as a fan, if you were really heated about the red card because it's your favorite player and he got sent off, you now have the audio of the explanation of why that call was made. You know what I would pay $1 for right now? The explanation of the NFL last night in real time, those referees looking at this and going, we don't see it. Because I was going, I do! I see it right there. And I promise you, I don't have the tech in the bro cave that you guys have in NFL headquarters in New York City, and you can't get this right.
You got like 15 screens in the bro cave. How do you not have the tech?
I got like 4. No, I got I had 4
last
night.
You told us more
I can
before.
go up to 7.
Okay, all right.
But I have 4 by default. I can go up to 7. And then you can add 2 more laptops and a tablet and a cell phone. So I guess technically I can go up to 11. This one goes to 11. Spinal Tap reference. All right. The point here is it's not that hard to get it right. It's not. It's not that hard to get it right. And for the sake of accountability, get it right and give us the audio. Do like soccer and give us the audio. All right? All you got to do, because it happens all the time. Crap call, crap replay, and then everybody jumps on the next thing. They go, see, Rob, replay's bad. No, it's not. No, it's not. Here's the perfect example that they went to replay, they got it right, and then they gave you the audio so you could know that it is right. What do the sports here do? They go, we're going to go to a replay. You can't know anything about it, though.
You just proved my point.
You can't do anything about it.
What do the sports here do?
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know if you know this. Sometimes other people do things better than you.
Elitist.
Yeah, America. We do replay bad, but that's really gooder. Stop it. Stop it.
Wow. So
you can love America, but acknowledge that soccer got this right and the NFL got it wrong.
Why would you want to impersonate someone from the great country of the United States of America and do it in that accent?
Because the only argument you are making right now is, boo, Britain bad, America good. That's your whole argument right now. That's all you've said. America good, Britain bad.
How dare you, sir, put words in my mouth. These are 2 different games, officiated differently and viewed differently, so therefore you cannot compare the 2.
I can't. I'm doing it right now.
The only comparison between the 2 sports is that they are sports. That's it.
No, there's a lot of comparison. Like one of them is that there's referees who blow whistles and indicate penalties and then justify them, except for the Brits did it, and then they went, and here's why, and we got it right, and the NFL went, we got it wrong. But trust us. No, I'm not going to do
like
that.
A bad guy from a 1975 cartoon.
Because
you went this. You even did like you're still doing it.
Twirl my mustache while I do this. My very British mustache. Look, it's not hard. You have the camera angles. Just plug one more cord in, run them to NFL HQ, and then get the damn call right. All right. And after you get the call right, just explain it. You want to know how I know there's time for it? Because Amazon and Fox and CBS and ESPN and every broadcasting company, all of them have a dude, the NFL rules expert. And they put this guy on the television broadcast and they go, Terry, what'd you think about that call? Wes, what'd you think about that call? And they go, well, I think it's a good call because this, or I think it's a bad call because this. You know what you can do? Let me make this easy for you. Every bit of what Terry McAuley said on the broadcast, just replace it with the guy from the NFL who comes on and explains it, right? Instead of going to Terry McAuley, rules expert, go to the guy who just made the rules. Just go to the guy. All right, we're going to send it up to New York to Bob Bobson, who made the decision to overturn that play. Bob, why did you overturn that penalty? Why did you hold up that penalty? Well, we overturned the penalty because blank, and here's the angle that proved it to us. Or we confirmed the penalty because blank, and here's the video that is the reason why we upheld it. And just show us. You understand how easy it is to be accountable when you got to put the books on display? This is some mafia stuff. We got it right. But you just have to trust us.
Worst made-up name you've ever made up.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I got stuck there. Robert Robertson.
That's better than Bob Bobson.
John Johnson. All right, that's enough of that. Hey, when we come back, we are going to be joined by a global icon as we get set for Friday Night SmackDown tonight live at the Bon Score Wellness Arena. Bailey joins us next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
In theory.
Theoretically. Rob does love Sigourney Weaver. I don't know why you're saying that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't get it. It was 45, wasn't it?
What's that? That she's supposed to join us?
Yeah.
I thought 40. Let me see what Roy said.
I thought it was 45.
That's fine. If I need to talk while we wait for it, that's all good. Yeah, 9:45. Gotcha, Wesley. All right, you got me. You win this. You win this round, sir.
You okay? You all right? You need medical attention?
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We will be joined here in about 5 minutes by Bayley, absolute icon, former NXT champion, the first WWE Women's Triple Crown champion, first WWE Women's Grand Slam champion, the 2024 Royal Rumble winner, the 2019 Money in the Bank winner. She is a two-time Women's Tag Team champion, as well as the first Women's Tag Team champion. She has also been a SmackDown Women's Champion and a Raw Women's Champion, and she will join us here in about 5 minutes to talk about tonight's WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Here's my question before she gets here. Great one. Are we getting Dwayne tonight? Did we get, because we've already confirmed the return of the OTC, Roman Reigns, this evening. Are we getting an appearance from Dwayne in the GVL?
See, I don't know. Can Dwayne roll up to Greenville and people not notice? I mean, you know.
He's got a big bus, I assume.
Probably.
And I Dwayne,
even if he were just to fly in, someone would have noticed. Maybe some people you know would have noticed.
True, but Bad Blood was in Atlanta. Granted, it's Dwayne, but it was in Atlanta. Like, he could bus over. And, like, Dwayne's made it to megastar status that, you know, his bus is blacked out, right? Like, he don't have his face on the side of the wagon, right? Like, if me and you got a tour bus for the Rob Brown Show, we'd slap our big heads on the side of it. Dwayne ain't that. Dwayne's like 1 or 2 levels more famous than you or I are. So his bus is blacked out. Like, he's rolling incognito around the GVL if he's here. We know we're getting Roman, which leads me to believe we're getting the Bloodline, which leads me to, I don't know, does Cody separate from the Bloodline story at this point? Is he still like part of that story moving forward? Because, you know, Roman wants the belt back, but he showed him the sign of respect of handing him the belt instead of, you know,
they're also
hitting him with it.
Building now towards Crown Jewel. So I'm guessing Cody would be here. Because
I gotta think so, right?
Yeah. Now is Kevin Owens like rolling up in a Pacer somewhere and no one's noticing him or something? Because I picture him rolling up in a Pacer for some reason.
Also, by the way, it's always fun talking wrestling when you know that they're in town, because you just never know.
No, you never know.
And just never.
And we've
know.
had so many wrestlers on. They might They might be tuned in.
Yeah. Right.
So Kevin Owens, if it is a Pacer, let us know.
I'm just simply going to say this. KO's got a point. All right? KO's got a point.
I agree with you.
As much as I understand, and Lonzo and I've talked about, I'm a big second chance guy. I'm a big believer in second chances. I'm a big believer in redemption, provided the behavior matches redemption, not just the words.
But if you're going to forgive Jay.
Sure. Again, like, if the behavior matches the redemption arc, then I totally get it. But if it's just a show up and go, I'm really a nice guy now, that's on me, after someone, you know, did some of the things that some of the people have done that Cody Rhodes is looking at forgiveness for, all I'm saying is I think KO's got a point. I think Kevin Owens has got a bit of a point, is all I'm saying. You know, I think it's fair.
By the way, it's daggone it. I completely lost this contest. Over. I also agree with you with KO. I do.
Yeah, I think he's got a point. Ladies and gentlemen, to the phone lines we go. And let us welcome in an absolute, and I'm going to say it, and I mean a global icon, one of the 4 horsewomen. She is a former NXT champion. She is the first ever Women's Grand Slam champion, the first ever Women's Triple Crown champion. She is the 2024 Royal Rumble winner. She is the 2019 Women's Money in the Bank winner. She is a two-time, and the inaugural WWE Women's Tag Team champion. She is a SmackDown Women's champion. She is a Raw Women's champion, and she is the next guest here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. WWE legend Bayley here on the show. Bayley, what's up? How we doing?
Oh my God, what an introduction. Now I feel alive. I'm awake this morning.
He's been practicing.
I'm no Samantha Irwin, but I'm trying my best.
That was a mouthful. I mean, there's so many accomplishments. I think you got them all.
I was going to say,
thank you so much.
Which one of them are you most proud of, Bayley? What's of the litany of things you pulled off? You get to put one on the Hall of Fame banner. Which one is it?
I'm gonna have to say the inaugural tag titles. We fought really hard for those, and to bring something to life is, unheard of in this industry and especially in this company. So I'm really proud of that one.
All right, so I'm looking on social media, so this has to be true. According to social media, 5 years ago today, you killed the Bailey buddies.
Saw that.
Yeah,
I just saw that. Ooh,
how did that feel? Did part of you die inside when you were slashing every single one of those Bailey buddies?
There was a moment, I knew it was going to be best for me in the long run, but there really was a moment before I went out that I was like, oh my God, not in the sense of like, am I making the right decision, but in the sense of like, this is the last time I'm going to come out to this song, and this is the last time I'm going to have this entrance, and it was a little bit of a bittersweet, like kind of sad to see them go type thing. But you know what? I needed to move on. I had to break that relationship off. It was time.
All right. One last question about this. What was that thing you were wielding? Because I don't know what that was.
Honestly, it was the weirdest thing. And they ended up putting it into like one of my Mattel action figures, which I thought was hilarious. But they had to like customize the axe for me because they didn't, I don't know. It was like an axe head, like the wooden part. And then they somehow like welded some blades on there, and I don't know why they didn't give me a real axe. Like maybe they were too worried about me using it. I don't know. It was the strangest thing. The first time I practiced it, like swinging it around, the blades flew off. So it was very dangerous. It was very weird.
We are talking to WWE legend Bailey as we get set for Friday Night SmackDown tonight at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena, downtown Greenville, South Carolina. Bailey, you have obviously been included in a what I think is a very important group of women in women's history. I think you guys started, created, maintained a revolution that has elevated women's wrestling to heights that many of us have wanted it to be at for a very long time. When you get mentioned in that story, when people talk about the four horsewomen and what was done at NXT, what was done during the main roster call-outs, how does that feel to you? Do you feel like you were a part of something special? What does that mean to you?
Well, thank you for saying that. I think it means a lot. That was, obviously our long-term goal. None of us knew each other going into NXT or when we first started, but it just so happened that we all started along about the same time and had the same goal, and it was just kind of like a happy mistake in a way. And I think that the biggest thing, what you just said, is the longevity of our careers right now. Then we're all making a difference, and we're all still here trying to help women's wrestling. And we were a small part of what it is, how it's become what it is today. And we just follow the footsteps of all the women we grew up watching, although it's had its ups and downs, I feel like we're really at a steady state right now. And I think the consistency of the four of us throughout the industry is what I'm mostly proud of.
All right. This is just us talking. Nobody else is listening. And this is going to bother Rob when I ask you this question. Is Tiffy as annoying as I think she is?
Yeah, she's so annoying, dude. It's like her voice, the way she laughs, her smile, she's so cocky. She's super annoying.
Now, I would be remiss not to point out, Bailey, you've had some periods of time in your life, and I'm not going to directly refer to Damage Control era here, but you've been there. It's kind of understandable, at least, right?
To be the annoying one?
Yeah. I do it every day, Bailey. I've made a career out of it.
I think I still am the annoying one. So, I understand, but she annoys me. If I annoy other people, I can't really help that. It's just who I am. But she annoys me. That's when it gets hard.
See, I'm gonna take Bailey's side here. She had a reason to be annoying because but Tiffy's she's just annoying.
Yeah, I had to get people's attention. She just wants the attention. She likes it. But I was trying to make a statement. Had to be done.
I respect it. Bailey has made many statements during her career. Talk to me a little bit about that, Bailey. The run from the Hug Life era through the Damage Control era. You have been super over, super hot on both ends of the spectrum, dominant on both ends of the spectrum. How do you successfully bounce back and forth from being someone that was an icon for youth, for the little girls of the world, and then turning around and kicking those people in the same in their faces during the Damage Control era? How do you maintain success being on both ends of that spectrum as a performer, as a wrestler?
I think opportunity, just being able to be on screen and kind of show myself, working with amazing people, honestly working with like Bianca Belair, who kind of took that spot in being the hero for little girls. It was kind of like, as I stopped doing that, she kind of stepped in and took that role. So it was really easy for me to do like a complete 180. I knew I couldn't just like half-ass it or anything. I had to like go full in and be this completely different person for them to totally buy into it. And honestly, like the new era with Triple H taking over, I think it's kind of just like a rebirth type thing where it's, you can try new things and it feels all brand new, even though it's kind of, we've been here for 10 years. But I just been really lucky to have the opportunity to kind of showcase different sides of me.
So you mentioned the Triple H era, and obviously during the run of Black and Gold NXT, and then Triple H moving up, kind of taking over creative control of the main roster. If I ask you to tell me what's changed, what's the biggest difference? Because for a lot of us fans, it feels like the product has been rejuvenated. It's a lot deeper now. There's a lot more intricate storylines. It feels to me like you guys are allowed to bring more to the characters than you have in years gone by. As somebody who has obviously watched Triple H grow as an executive, as a showrunner, and you growing up in that same time as a performer, how's that been like this last year, 2 years for you?
It's been, I still can't believe the era that we're in right now. We're us NXT kids that grew up with him in that little era are super lucky that he's so familiar with us. But like we got a little taste of it then, but it's so different now where it's on a much larger scale, and somehow he still makes time for everybody. Like in NXT it was different. We were a smaller roster. We were, smaller arenas to fill, but even now he still makes time from top to bottom, from Randy Orton to me to, anybody that's on the show, he makes time for. And I think that's really, it helps, the feeling backstage. It makes you feel seen. It makes you feel like he has your best interest at heart. And that goes a lot for like our morale, and it goes a long way.
Speaking of NXT, we were talking on the show yesterday about how one of the best women's division in all of wrestling is in NXT right now. Do you look down at that roster and think, I can't wait to wrestle her? Is there one specific wrestler that you're looking forward to moving up to the main roster?
Yeah, totally. I think there's so many girls down there. It's hard to just name, one, but if I were, Roxanne obviously is on top of the world right now. She's just been having, showing who she is night after night and having all these title defenses that are always so memorable. I think she just has such a gift. She does so many little things in matches that, I can appreciate. And then I just can't wait for her to come up here and be in the ring with different people.
Bayley, WWE legend here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Last one, Bayley, before we let you go, getting ready for SmackDown tonight at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. This might be the most important question that I ask. Will we see the return of the side pony? We've seen the Karen Cup. We've seen the side shave. We've seen them all. Will we ever get the side pony back, Bayley? It's an iconic look, ma'am.
I've had an idea in my mind for only the last month, but I don't want to share it because if I do, then it would just ruin my idea. So I'm just going to say, I still got some years left in me. So I think there's time for a little bit of everything.
I respect it. I do. Bayley, WWE icon, joining us here on the show. She is a former NXT champion, two-time, as a matter of fact, WWE Women's Grand Slam champion, WWE Women's Triple Crown champion, the 2024 Royal Rumble winner, the 2019 Money in the Bank winner, the inaugural and two-time Women's Tag Team champion, a SmackDown champion, a Raw champion. Bayley, you are the best. Thank you so much. You are welcome on the show anytime. We'll have you back.
All right. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Absolutely.
We'll see you at the show tonight.
Yes, you will. Bayley, WWE icon, joining us here on the show again Friday night SmackDown tonight, the Bon Secours Wellness Arena in downtown Greenville, South Carolina.
I have one more question. I was going to ask her. They're trying to goad AJ into coming back. Guess we'll leave that for next time.
Yes, we will. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us for the show for the week. Ohio State by 3.
Hope so.
good enough. What a take. Y'all have a great weekend. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll see you back here Monday to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Later.
Let me tell you what they done done. They done kicked your ass, son. Wow.
She was a blast.
She is good.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun. All right, guys, I got to split because I have a billion things to do and 2 hours to do them. So y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself.
Hey, Upstate Pulse, bet for a cycle tomorrow.
Noon to 4, bet for the cycle. 7 to 9, Upstate Pulse, WORD, our brother station. All the footballs. We'll talk about it on Monday. Thank you for being here. I love you. You're great. Goodbye.